Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the National Underclassmen Combine. You got the North and South All-American teams here. These are seniors that are going to be playing and competing tonight, and we're going to see quite a load of talent. I got alongside my colleague, Coach Zach Willis. Coach, what do you think about tonight's game?
Well, I'll tell you this. I have been nothing but impressed with the process that these young men go to be selected for this. There are national combines held all over the United States, and these are the very best of the guys who go to those combines, and you have to be invited from what I understand. This is an elite level of high school football. We'll be discussing a lot of guys tonight who are already committed. Most of them have offers and are getting heavily recruited, and if it's anything like our 7th and 8th grade game, it will be phenomenal, and I believe it will be.
And we noticed in that 7th and 8th grade game, a lot of discipline, a lot of good execution, and some physicality on both sides of the ball. And for those listening, and not only at home but in attendance here today, I would compare this as similar to the North-South All-Star game that those locally would be familiar with.
It's probably honestly a level up from that talent-wise, because it's a national All-American game, but it's very favorable. If you live in the local area, this is a game you want to put on your calendar every year to come to. I grew up in South Carolina, as did you. I recruited this state for the better part of 20 years, and this is an elite level of talent. And I think the competition, as you will see tonight, is outstanding. And obviously, we've got kids from California to New York to Florida. Every coast is represented, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is indeed. So weather right now is probably in the low 50s, high 40s. Most of these guys are used to this weather by now. They've been here in the Myrtle Beach area for 3 days, stayed up in a nice hotel and facility in the Sheridan, and now they're here in tonight's game, getting ready to put on a performance for the scouts in attendance and for their family and friends also in attendance, watching both here in the stands and back home as well.
And I think, leading off here, obviously special teams played a big factor in the last All-Star game we watched here earlier tonight. I think it'll play a big factor in this game also. Lane integrity on the kickoff, strength of the kicker's leg, all that stuff that you need to be evaluating if you're a college coach at this game. It ought to be an outstanding game. As far as fundamentals go, special teams may be the difference in the football game.
And from our time down on the field, these guys are quite big. They've got some size to them.
These are legitimate Division I football players. These are legitimate Division I prospects, and I expect to see some major league collisions out there tonight and some good football. There's nothing about this game that's second rate. These are some of the best high school senior prospects in the United States, no doubt.
Well, it looks as if the South is going to kick off to the north to open tonight's game, and looks as if number 76 for the South is going to be doing the kickoff duties tonight.
And that's D.B. Beaver from Camden, Arkansas. He's 6'4", 315 pounds.
Not your typical kicker, but I'd say if anybody gets behind the return man or the kickoff team, he can make a good hit.
Absolutely.
Nice little old-fashioned Sebastian Janikowski toe action. And then 85 for the North's going to make a return. He's doing a good job of getting upfield and driving his feet, but he's going to be brought down by a host of South defenders.
Good lane integrity there, not a bad return.
Detree Wilson out of Asheboro, North Carolina, wide receiver, 6'2", 215 pounds. So he's got some size on him as well, Coach.
A good size here. And again, if you look at that offensive line rolling out onto the field here for the North squad, it's very impressive. And the size, you look at the dimensions. These kids look like college athletes already. I'm excited about being here and think we're going to have a lot of fun.
So he was in at quarterback for the North to open the series. Number 4 for the North, T.J. Linta out of Hamden Hall. Interesting fact about him, he's the National Underclassmen Combine Quarterback of the Year. He's quite the scholar as well. He's committed to Brown University. Well,
you won't see a lot of mental mistakes out of him. Great close down play here by number 84 for the South. Tony Zalfris, I think it was, did a great job closing down here on the play. As you can see, stay square. Excellent fundamental play right there. Good job, good football.
Always like a guy that can chase the ball down from the backside.
We got press coverage.
Going to hand it off again, and great play in the backfield there, but he's going to get about 2 yards on the play. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage if he's lucky, but good defensive penetration there.
Yeah, big number 60 there penetrated, did an excellent job there. And it looks to me that's Trae Gardner out of Roosevelt High School out in Texas. I think that's Dallas if I'm not mistaken. Excellent job there. Got a great build. You'll see him come through here at nose. Great quick swim move. That's excellent play. Great football. South is press coverage here. They're playing a wide angle up top, leaving a couple of gaps open.
North came out with trips. Going to roll out to the right there.
Excellent coverage.
He's got a man downfield, number 11.
That's excellent coverage by 22 there.
Great breakup there.
South looks to have a lot of speed on defense, and it looks to me like they feel that they can press the North, play a press man look, and bring pressure off the weak side from what I'm seeing so far. You can see the coverage here. Excellent job by 22 there for the South. Anthony Dozier, and he's out of University High down in Florida. 6'1", 187 pounds. That's good prototypical size for a cover corner. And it looks a lot like what you play within the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, that kind of football player, and that's what we're going to see a lot of tonight.
Well, the South defense did a great job and came out and got a 3 and out. And now we've got Ryan Lentz for the North out to punt. And looks as if they're not going to follow through with special teams entirely. They're going to allow the young man to punt and the returner to field the ball, and they're going to call it at that, probably for safety of the individual players.
Well, I think at the speed and size of these guys, you got to be careful. We're out here to showcase their athletic ability, and you've got to protect them as best you can. We had a couple of minor injuries in the youth game, nothing major, but the collisions will be a lot harder in this one and the speed a lot greater. And the punting game is important, but it can be fraught with opportunities for injury if you're not careful.
From the South, they got him out of shotgun. Jason Rominger with a pass completed, number 7 there. Broke some ankles, made a good move, got upfield, got some yards after the catch.
Yeah, number 23 for the North did a great job pursuing there. Over-pursued a little bit, Christopher Fry. And Christopher, in fact, is committed to Michigan State, so it's one of the guys there that'll be playing for Coach Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans. And I wish him well, but he figured out right there you can't over-pursue. Big hole.
Big hole for the South, and 34 is going to do a great job. Lowers his shoulder and puts the boom on the defensive player. And, man, he's fired up right now. 34 for the South there.
That's Coleman Blackston, and he's from Dunbar High School in Maryland. He's the running back of the year for NUC in the whole country. And he's got an Old Dominion offer, but I predict more. Coming out of Dunbar, which is a powerhouse, he reminds me very much of some of the running backs they've sent into the Big Ten that we competed against. He's extremely powerful, low center of gravity. As you watch him run here, we got a flag on the play, but, boy, he's a good-looking running back, Mark.
He hit that hole and definitely hit it with a purpose and got upfield. Rominger took the snap, but it's going to be a penalty on them. Some laundry on the field. You hate to see flags out early, but better work it out rather sooner than later.
One of the things I really like about what I'm seeing out of him right now, look at his pad level. See how he's down behind his pads, got that ball tucked. He can take a lick there and not feel a thing because of his ability to run behind his pads.
And 28 did a good job. Michael Bazili coming in and making that play as well. Rominger from the shotgun. He's going to take the snap. Got a little encroachment there, looks like, on 97.
They went on a hard count there. Very smart, getting five of those 10 yards back after that holding call. That makes a difference, and I think that that's the kind of coaching we saw in the first game. You know, good, solid football coaching, testing the discipline of the defense, and making it work to your advantage.
That was Philip Gilman on the penalty there, and now Rominger back in the shotgun. Looks as if they're going to take it. Whereas our last game, a lot of plays were under center. This time they're taking it from the shotgun the majority of the game. Rominger looking to pass.
Good pocket.
Definitely got a pocket, but he's got some wheels too. He took off and lowered his shoulder, picked up a good chunk of yards, probably 8 or 9 right now. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down.
Well, very good speed there. They're going with their hurry up, it looks like. No huddle, which is a trend now, an offense that I used a lot myself as a head coach. And Rominger's running it well, but protection was good there. And he took advantage of a gap in the pass rush and ran up in there and got a good yardage.
Number 12 on the carry is going to pick up the first down easily. And now we'll see what the officials spot him at. But 12 did a great job getting upfield.
That's a local product, Walter Robinson out of Dutch Fork High School in Columbia.
5'8", 185 pounds. Nice short stature, and he's built very solid, so it'll be a good running back to have.
Good change of pace from between the two running backs. 34 is a power back. Blackston's a power back out of Dunbar in Maryland. Now you've got your speed in there.
Rominger gets a quick pass out. Looks like 85 with the reception. 85 for the South. Joshua Timms out of West Orange Stark, Texas.
More of a possession receiver, but a very good route, great hands, and great delivery by the Rominger. He's a true pocket passer with good mobility and good size.
You're speaking about his size. He's 6'4", Coach. That's pretty impressive for a senior coming out of high school. So he's definitely got some size to work with. 225 pounds. He'll be able to contribute on the next level quite soon.
Good play there by 42, the linebacker, Brandon Bowman, and he's out of Pennsylvania. Excellent penetration there and fit. Pennsylvania's known for producing great linebackers. Penn State's long been known as linebacker U.
Rominger with the first mistake of the game, but they're going to rule it an incomplete pass.
That's the nice thing about the bubble screen. You can see it here. Actually, the running back ran into him. They're supposed to have a flash fake, the whole linebacker there, and Rominger was in a little bit of a hurry to get that bubble screen out there, and that could be a difference in coaching philosophy from his high school to here and him reverting back to old ways. There's the flash fake.
Oh, good play on the defensive line. Got his hands up and knocked the pass down. So good incompletion there. Going to force a fourth down. Now we'll see if the field goal unit comes out.
And that was number 33.
33 for the North, Aaron Tiller out of Licking Heights, Ohio, defensive end, 6'1", 230 pounds. His older brother played at Southern.
Well, he's another, out of another football hotbed. And we're seeing kids from Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina. We saw a lot from Georgia and North Carolina earlier. It's kind of a trend.
Looks as if that was a failed fourth down attempt, so they've turned the ball over now, and the North is going to take possession.
Nice power play there. You see a real good down block here on the replay by the right guard. Watch this kid. They're 55, just driving his man out of there, is driving a nose guard down.
Gus Davini out of Cherryville High School in North Carolina.
Great job there, powering down, and it was actually the center. He got his nose wheeled around and did an excellent job. I like to give credit to those big boys up front. They're what make an offense go.
So the field general for the North right now is number 7, Garrett Shaler out of Detroit Loyola in Michigan. Quarterback, 6'3", 205 pounds. He's going to look out to the flats, and a great play by the defensive back coming in and stuffing the receiver for negative yardage. Great job by that corner outside.
It's number 28, JaMario McClendon from Bleckley County in South Georgia. And let me tell you, folks, they have put more kids from South Georgia into Bobby Bowden. There was a pipeline to Florida State when Bobby Bowden was there, and Jimbo Fisher's continued that. And I would say that you will see this young man on ACC or SEC football field one day if he takes care of business in the classroom, Mark.
You always like seeing a corner who can come up and make a hit.
When you can explode through, we call that the burst, and that's just where you change speed in literally the blink of an eye. Very few guys have that ability, but he demonstrated it there.
Got a little roll out there by the quarterback. He's going to decide to keep it and take it for a gain of 8 yards. He fumbled the ball, but looks like it was out of bounds, so that's going to just get him a nice positive yardage and bring up the next down.
There was a big lick, I believe, delivered by number 42 over there on the sidelines for the South. And that's what jarred that ball loose. I believe I'm right there. DeAndre Woody from Springville, Alabama. Again, a hotbed for football, and you can see it coming right here. Boom. And 40 from the backside, we talk about the guy you don't see causing the fumble, contributed to that also. So it was a good job by them, and that's Christopher Massenberger from Hardaway High down in Georgia. So the Georgia-Alabama connection worked pretty good there, Mark.
It's working good, yes, sir. Great hat placement on that ball as well, resulting in the fumble. So now we've got the Lentz back once again for the second punt of the game. He's got a fairly decent leg on him. It's going to be easily received by the punt returner, number 23.
That's about a 28-yard net punch. You'd like to see a little bit less height. And this is going to be gamesmanship, but if I know you're not going to rush me, hey, kick it away from the returner and let that sucker roll down the field and gain some field position. And I'm sure the coaches will make that adjustment, take advantage of that rule on both sides before the night's over. Good starting field position for the South here.
Nothing to complain about there. It looks as if we might have a new quarterback in for the South. trying to get the hard count in, number 4 for the South, A.J. Long out of Friendship Christian School in Tennessee.
The North's doing a good job disguising coverage here, too.
Little high snap, but 23 is going to take it outside, and a nice shoestring tackle there by number 15, I believe, on the north side. Troy Durman out of Virginia. He's an athlete, and he's also the National Underclassmen Combine Linebacker of the Year.
You know, the folks at the National Underclassmen Combine don't miss much, do they? The kids that have won these awards have been great players in the game so far. In this one and the previous game, they've been dominant players.
So Long with the snap, hands it off to 23 once again, and he gets stood up after gaining about 2 yards.
Richardson again on the carry.
Going to bring up 3rd down for the South, and we'll see what they can do, whether they're going to air it out or try and take it back to the ground.
And that was Jamaz Richardson from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Being a former Marine, you know all about Camp Lejeune, I'm sure, Mark.
I can appreciate that. He's probably out of Jacksonville High School.
Mm-hmm. Good football program.
Once again, Long trying to implement that hard count to get the guys to jump, but so far the North is displaying some good discipline throughout.
And you know, the fact that they can hard count after 3 days of practice is impressive.
Nice deep ball by Long. Let's see what.
Whoa.
Great catch, phenomenal catch. He's going to take it in the end zone. Nobody around him. Now it's just a matter of maintaining his discipline and not getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
And that's Ronnie Reed from Saraland High School in Alabama. So great adjustment there. You'll see here the in-flight adjustment for the receiver. The ball's in flight here. He makes a great adjustment there and makes that over-the-shoulder catch, which is a tough catch.
And I'll tell you what I like. I like where Long stepped up in it, and he
Yes.
made his throw. He stepped into his throw, I should say. And
Well,
he put the ball on the money, and the receiver went up and caught it at his highest point, made the play.
He was well covered there. The corner had good coverage. He put it over his outside shoulder where only he could either make the play or no, it was going to be incomplete.
A poor snap there by the center, but it's going to result in a failed extra PAT attempt.
You know, one of the things we talked about with special teams and watching this game unfold it very well, again, the kicking game is going to be a factor. We know that. How much of one, it'll remain to be seen, but there's points left on the board right there, or actually taken off the board. You left them on the field that you could have had.
And, Coach, you know just as well as I do, points add up.
Oh, they do, and it's amazing. You know, there a couple years ago, the NFL did a study. The average game in the NFL was decided by 4.4 points that year. That's a little bit more than a field goal, more like a field goal and an extra point a game. And there's so many times that a field goal here, an extra point there, we're not going to have to worry too much about the punting game tonight or turnovers there because they're not covering them. But those are huge things, and it'll be interesting to watch this, you know, and being a former special teams coordinator, you know, it's a nerve-wracking business. But you get about 12 special teams plays a game on the average, and they can be huge. Hopefully, you always hope you either make a great one or nobody notices. That's when you sleep better that night.
That's right. That's right.
Have a good trip home from the game.
Well, for the South, once again, kicking off is DB Beaver. Not your typical kicker, but he did a good job earlier getting the ball fairly deep. So now we'll see what the North can do if they can come back and respond to the South's early score.
Now, Mark, looking at DB, you think DB might like to go hunting? He's from Arkansas.
He might be a duck hunter.
He might be a deer hunter, big old square-toed kicker, big lineman. Great name for football.
A little poor judgment by the return man, but he's doing a good job of trying to make up for lost ground. You hate to see that, but he misread it. Misread that kick, and it ended up costing him some yards.
I was looking at DB too, you know. Hopefully they can show him here. Look at those red shoes. I like a big man with moxie.
There you go.
You know,
and
he's got a little bit of style there to him. You know, he ain't afraid to bling it out a little bit with the shoes. I love his name. I was a lineman in high school and had to kick, so I'm kind of partial.
There you go.
Us big guys, you know, we don't get to do stuff like that a lot.
Well, as the North gets set, going to be interesting to see who they bring in at quarterback, whether or not they keep in their original T.J. Linta, who was the first series. It looks like they brought in somebody new now. So we'll see who they got in at quarterback here momentarily. But see if the South can continue their trend and get another 3rd and out for the 3rd straight time.
I think that's Dante DiMaggio from Cardinal Gibbons. And they have North Carolina here.
Not a bad-sized young man either, 6'3", 195.
Well, he's got a great last name if you're a Yankees baseball fan, I can tell you that.
DiMaggio is kind of familiar, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonder if there's any relation. And at a level we're playing here, there very well could be.
So Maurice Woodard on the last carry, number 13 for the North. Pick up about 2 yards.
He's from West Lafayette, Indiana, very close to Purdue University.
DiMaggio still in at quarterback. Woodyard lined up to his right side. Split back set, so we'll see what they got. DiMaggio's going to look for the pass here. He's got a man out there, number 88, I believe, is tight end. A big man, but he made a great play, and that could result in a late foul there.
And they're calling for it over there. I think they're going to let him play a little bit, but that was close.
I think the side that he got tackled on might be slightly partial to him, but number 88 did a good job of making a reception there. Josh Banfalvi out of West Johnston High School in North Carolina, tight end.
Very nice job by a big guy. Look at him run and drag him. Good size. Good job by 48. I don't think there was anything intentional there, but he's got to be careful. Referees sometimes are cautioned about extracurricular, and you can really give up 15 yards you don't want to with a play like that, even when you don't mean to.
Well, 88, Banfalvi decided not to go too far from home. He's committed to North Carolina State. He's going to be a Wolfpack.
Oh, yeah. Coach Dorn ought to be very happy with him. They like to use the tight ends there.
Last play resulted in a loss of a yard. It's going to bring up 2nd down for the North, so we'll see where they go from there. They handed it off to, well, DiMaggio decided to keep the ball himself. He faked it at 10 there. And
just too much penetration on a pull-in play. The thing that when you run power football, and what I mean by that is pulling a guard, pulling a tackle, you can't have penetration to the play side. They can chase from the back, but there's too much penetration front side for that play to work.
DiMaggio is going to take the snap here. He's out of the shotgun. He's going to look for the pass there, and he's got a man. Good break there by the defensive back, number 15 for the South, Corey Abraham out of Breaux Bridge Senior High School in Louisiana.
I remember Corey Abraham that played for Florida State, was a pretty doggone good football player years ago, and this kid's making some nice plays here. Good protection by the running back in the game there on the linebacker. That's a tough matchup, and I've noticed that the South is bringing their outside backers a lot and getting them matched up on their running back, so that's something that you could develop because that can be a mismatch at times.
So 3rd down and 11 for the North. Pretty much a passing down. We'll see if they can convert here. They've been unfortunate and haven't been able to convert anything so far. They've had their first 2 drives come to a blitz 3-and-out fairly early.
Got a blitz.
Heavy pressure. Laundry on the field late. He's got a pretty strong arm. He threw it downfield. Great interception there by the defensive back. Number 16 for the South, David Mims out of Evans High School in Georgia, safety.
That'd be the Augusta area, Evans High and Augusta. Very good football program down there. Pretty decent protection here. I think we've got a holding penalty from where that flag is thrown. Oh, personal foul. Wow.
That's going to be a heartbreaker for the South after a great play there by the defensive back. To get a personal foul like that, you take your offense back off the field and put the defense back out there.
You know, it may have been hands to the face. I can see Coach out there. We got the staff from Lackawanna Junior College down here coaching in this football game, which means we got a very high level, one of the better junior college programs in the country. And, you know, it is unfortunate, but we go back to the late hit out of bounds. They kind of got away with that, and this time they didn't. You got to play hard, but you got to play under control.
Well, the North has crossed the 50-yard line for the first time this game, and they're looking to capitalize and get back on the game in the scoreboard. But a bad snap there by the center. DiMaggio couldn't handle it, and it's going to be recovered by number 42 of the South, DeAndre Woody out of Springville, Alabama.
Tell you, Alabama and Georgia's and North Carolina's keep showing up a lot, and this is probably a product of the 3 days of practice. You know, when you get in that shotgun, and now you got a nose tackle that we've already seen in number 60, you know, Trae Gardner, who's quick swim center. So that center's sitting there sweating. trying to snap shotgun and defend against a guy like that may need a little help from the offensive guard to turn to protection that way and double team his man so he can take some heat off of him.
New quarterback in for the South, 1st and 10. Number 8, Bud Martin out of Dillard High in Florida.
Good high school football program there.
Looks over to the sideline to get the play call from the Lackawanna Junior College coaching staff, and he's looking
Good
fairly
ball.
deep first play of the game that he's in, and 14 with the reception there. 14 is Cameron Knight out of Shallow Water, Texas.
And great size, committed to Texas State already. So Texas State's, I say already, signing date's a month away. That's a very good throw there, Mark.
Good
Seam
ball.
route. Seam route, tight ends need to make those catches, and he did. Press coverage here. Looks like a man-free coverage coming up here. May get some pressure. We'll see.
Looks back over the sideline once again, so it looks like they're going to kind of utilize a hard count to see if they can get him, and then they're going to look back and make adjustments as needed. Little bobble snap there. Good job of getting the ball to the running back, and they try to pick up positive yardage, but he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Good play by J.C. Coleman out of Nicholas County, West Virginia, one of those Mountaineers up there. And nice job of closing down here. You can see him coming from the backside here, a little bit mishandled, but he beats his man on the zone read and makes the play.
Martin with the snap, and he's got a man. He's going to try to feed it to him again, but tipped and almost intercepted there.
Yeah, that's a tough route to throw on a tight end with a skill guy all over him like that, but he had position. If he could have thrown it into the body of the tight end there, he makes a play, and he really has an excellent arm. I mean, he's got a lot of velocity on that ball, great pace on his football.
Martin remains in at quarterback. Peter Esau out of W.J. Keenan in at the running back, and he's going to take the handoff.
And that would be out of Columbia, South Carolina. And good job there by the North, bowing up. You know, they need to make some plays here and not give the South a jump on them here.
Well, from where the offense is struggling on the North, the defense has proven to be pretty tough. They've done a great job thus far in this game, holding the South to only 6 points. So.
And there's 78 again, my West Virginia Mountaineer, penetrating and getting in on the play.
Martin's going to look to the right side. He's got a man there, but he can only get a hand on it. It's going to fall incomplete.
And that's 14 again, the tight end, Cameron Knight. And, you know, I wonder if they were roommates because he's been going to him a lot.
He likes him a lot. They might have shared some time there at the Sheridan.
Well, you know, the thing is he's been open too. And the thing that I'm seeing here, good play fake, good play protection here, is it looks to me like coming out of the break, you know, Cameron needs to get his eyes around before his feet come around. That's one of the things he'll learn when he goes to college, and it'll help him, but he's got to locate that ball visually and come out of that break a little harder. They time that up, it's going to be tough to stop. But we've seen for the second time now they go for it on 4th down, so obviously not very confident with a field goal kicker.
Yeah, they're clearly staying away from the field goal game, but it is nice to see some chemistry, although it hasn't been able to execute just yet.
Well, I want to see old DB try one for it's over tonight. I hope they'll give him a shot.
I'm sure they will. 18 in at quarterback for the North. 18 is Brandon Mitchell out of Fox Chapel, Pennsylvania, quarterback. A tall man in stature, 6'6", 210 pounds.
Well, you know, Pennsylvania, especially western Pennsylvania, has traditionally turned out guys like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas, just to name a few at quarterback. So there's a rich tradition in that state, especially in the western part of that state, if that's where he's from. So may see some special things out of him. Big, strapping kid.
Tywan Martin out of Hilliard Bradley in Ohio lined up at running back. Quarterback keeper, and he's going to get stuffed at the line of scrimmage there. Good job by the South defense.
Very good. There's great penetration up front there. 57 was in there quickly. Latrent Hill out of Plano West Senior High School out in Plano, Texas. You can see 84 in there too. And that's Tony Zafori. It's out of Station Camp High School in Tennessee. And the South's getting a lot of penetration, Mark, up front. They're really out-athleting the North's front right now, and they're going to have to make some adjustments to get their offense going.
We got trips lined up to the right of the quarterback here for the North, so we'll see what they do. They got to convert this 3rd down because they've been struggling offensively all game.
Oh, boy, they're all over.
Good pressure. He's going to have to really make a play with his feet, and he's got a lane if he can keep his feet. He's going to be close to the first down, but I think you're right, Coach. I think he's going to be about a yard short.
Yeah, and really up front they're struggling the North. There were a couple of near tackles up there. You can see here 84 getting held, and they just overran him. He does a great job running here. Got an ankle brace on. I think you can see he may be playing with a little dinged ankle.
It could be. They could have just had a deep run in playoffs, and he could have not had a lot of downtime, but he did a good job of trying to pick up what he can, and it looks as if they might go for this, trying to convert it. They brought in Rominger once again, the big-time commit to Brown, quarterback of the year, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the North. You know,
this is awful early to go for something down this deep. Now, you know, what it tells me are two things. Number one, they have a lot of confidence that they can make it. Number two, they have even more confidence in their defense. But it is an all-star game. If you're going to do something like this is the place to do it. If you're coaching for a living, I might stay away from this and punt the ball. But it'll be interesting to see if they can. I would guess in that huddle right now, there's a coach over there trying to talk the head man out of going for this thing. What do you think, Mark?
I think you might be right,
And
Coach.
he might be a defensive coach.
As good as the defense is playing, you don't want to put them in a bad situation too many times.
Well, your job as a coach is to put your players in the best possible position you legally can to help them be successful and win. And that's what you got to think about here. We'll see what they come up with. Hard count, they could try hard count, you know, and call a timeout if they don't make it.
They've got in some big bodies on the offensive line. Looks like they've brought in.
And they got a big tailback in now, too.
So let's see who they get the ball to here and see if they can convert.
Looks almost like they're going to throw it while it lined up. But
they're going for a quarterback keeper, and that is going to result in a turnover on downs, ladies and gentlemen. He did not get any push whatsoever.
No, he's short and actually may have lost a little bit. Based on the referee's spot here. We can see here.
The North is signaling first down, but I don't think they have it.
No. He's laying around the 25. You can see the ref coming in, the line judge coming in, and he's the guy that has a spot here.
Turnover on down, so the South is going to get back possession of the football and has the potential to go up by 2 scores. They are now inside the North 30-yard line.
The speed of the South defense is really evident right now. Their athleticism up front and their speed on the back end, they're able to lock down their receivers. The North's going to have to try some screens, some misdirection, some draws, maybe even a trick play or two to slow these guys down.
Rominger in at quarterback. Takes the snap, hands off, and he decides to keep it himself, and he does a good job. Breaks a tackle, evades a defender, and he could take it in. He's going to get tackled at about the 5-yard line. Great job by Rominger evading the tackle and making some positive yardage out of nothing.
Now, I tell you, you know, he doesn't have any offers that I see here on our sheet. I don't know why. That's an excellent stiff arm and move there. Great read. And you know, we're in slow motion here, but he finishes a run well, too. I think the North just called a timeout, but, you know, Rominger is really impressive so far. He's not flashy, but he really gets the job done, Mark.
Now, Coach, in your history of coaching, the North's already utilized 2 timeouts. How valuable or how invaluable are those timeouts as the game progresses along in the first half?
Well, you know, first half, not as valuable, but in the first half, I used them like a basketball coach used them. I used them to stem momentum. I'd probably use one here to try to calm my kids down. I don't think this is such a bad call, and I think the one where they went for it, obviously that didn't work out. You know, hindsight's 20/20, but 2-minute drill, they can be critical. And that would be the thing that I would look at is now your 2-minute drill is going to be a little bit tougher than it was. Second half, I'm going to hold on to those timeouts. You're going to need them. And right now, they need somebody to step up and make a play because they've actually had one stand in the red zone already. They need another one now.
You don't want to get down by 2 scores the way the offense is producing right now
exactly.
Because they haven't had any production. So.
No, they hadn't, and they're going to bring pressure off the edge here. Looks like Rominger just snuck that one. I don't really understand.
I don't know about the play call on that one, Coach.
I don't know what they were trying to do. It almost looked to me like, well, we'll see right here. He's just sneaking the ball, and he hesitated. Great surge up front. 78-59, the center. Joshua Calabo, he's out of Deltona High in Florida. And Tristan Harkleroad, who's out of Benedictine Military, which is down in Savannah, Georgia. They just blew him off the ball. And I don't know if he bobbled a snap or what happened there, but, they lost probably 2 or 3 yards. It was actually a good call to snap it, but he just couldn't execute it and run forward. But we'd rather have a half a yard gain than a fumble.
Yes, sir.
And I think what he was doing, he's a very heady kid. You can tell he's a very intelligent quarterback and pretty good on his feet. So they've probably given him the freedom to call that whenever he wants to, because he's obviously got a very high football IQ and aptitude for mentally managing the football game for you. And he falls into a category of quarterback when you evaluate of a game management type guy, a guy that's not a super athletic Cam Newton kind of guy, but a guy that can manage the game for you. And in their very, very best form, that's a guy like a Peyton Manning. Obviously we don't want to tag any kid with that. Oh, no.
At the start of the second quarter here, poor communication there, and it very well could have been recovered by the North. It'll be interesting to see if Rominger was able to come up with that. The North is saying they have the football, so
they're
we'll see
looking
what
down.
The officials rule. Football's up, and the player's looking down.
And that one's recovered by number 50 for the North.
That's Matt Moreland out of Milton Academy, Massachusetts, a linebacker, 215 pounds, 6 foot tall.
Oh, boy.
And that's just poor communication.
That again, we're seeing evidence here of 3 days preparation. And also these centers under a lot of pressure to block these nose tackles. In many cases, they may be lining up against the best player they've ever blocked in this game.
Well, they're definitely seeing talent.
Exactly. And it shows the defense is usually going to be ahead of the offense in a game like this.
So in for the quarterback on the north side is Linta. Hamden Hall overthrows his receiver there. Had a lot of pressure in his face.
When you look at him deliver that football, he's got great pace on the football. He can good velocity, but he's pushing the ball a little bit. That's why it's sailing out of bounds on him. But he's obviously got the gun to deliver the football. There's no doubt about that. Protection wasn't bad either. I think the South has actually rotated in some other players on their defensive front too.
And I saw some change of personnel on the north side as well. Looked like they brought in 81 for the North. Tyler Zylan out of Boyertown area, senior, Pennsylvania. He's a tight end as well.
One of the things we have to remember here is this is an all-star game. And while the objective is to win the game, good defense again.
That's number 22 out there. He's kind of put himself on an island, and he's doing a great job. He covered number 84 on there.
That's Anthony Dozier. And before I get back to the point I was making, he's beginning to distinguish himself. You watch this play here. It's the second time he's been challenged. He's all over the guy. He's pressing. He's bailing. Here's a kid who definitely is going to come out of this game. His stock's going to go up if he continues to play well, and that's what these games are for. The object is to win, but it's almost, I don't want to say secondary, but you want to showcase the kids too, so everybody needs playing time.
Well, he just covered the wide receiver Dukes out of the north side, and Duke stands pretty tall, 6'4", so that's a big-time cover job for that corner out there. Linta gets the ball out quick. There's the velocity you were talking about, Coach, and the receiver does a pretty good job of trying to get some positive yardage, picks up about 5.
He got it there quick enough that Dozier wasn't able to come up and use his great speed and make a play on it. And you can see it here, good flash fake. Look at his footwork. Bam, perfect throw. Good job switching hands with the ball. Great effort at the end of the play.
That's Brendan Smith out of Indian Creek High School in Indiana, looks like a wide receiver.
Fundamentally almost perfect there. Switching hands with the ball like that, I mean, that's just great coaching, and his coach back home in Indiana needs to get a lot of props for teaching him how to do that.
And here we are again. They failed to have any offensive production, so now they're forced to punt again.
And they kicked the roller away from the guy. These coaches don't miss a trick. It didn't roll as well as he wanted it to, but they got the right idea, I think.
As the South comes back out on the field, A.J. Long, Friendship Christian School, Tennessee, in at quarterback for the South.
And the big back from Dunbar is back in too.
34.
Coleman Blackston, and I have been impressed with him as much as anybody tonight so far at running back. He's been impressive.
I'm going to keep my eye on Fry for this one. He's the National Underclassmen Combine Player of the Year. He's 23. He's lined up on the right side as we're looking at it. Left side as the fans are watching it. He's closer to the boundary.
Left defensive end's awful close to being offsides here. They didn't call it.
It looks like Long's going to scramble out. He's got an arm on him, but he was going to throw it out of bounds. But, man, that was close to being a fairly catchable ball for the defense.
I think what happened there was a receiver broke it off and curled up underneath the coverage, and he thought he was going to continue to run the fly route. There was a read on the run type route. We call those air option routes here, and we will see the number 1 receiver down there at the bottom by the down marker. You can see the pressure coming from number 3 there from the north. He does a good job. But you can see here he curled up, and he threw the deep route. And that happens a lot.
Mackay out of Fordson High School.
He has crowded the ball. He's doing an excellent job there of getting off the football and taking every bit of the ball that he can without being offsides.
False start there on the offense, so that's going to knock him back 5. It's going to make it second down a little more lengthy for him. Not really what you want to see, especially as the coach.
And, you know, I would look with Mackay being coming that hard upfield, for them to fan him up the field, pull a guard up underneath him, and run Blackston up underneath when they get a chance. This is a great screen or draw down for the offense. Oh, they got it.
Oh, that's a little early there.
Yeah. I think number 7 thought he was getting it.
I think he thought he had the ball coming to him. He decided to turn the burners on a little too early.
And that's Jonathan Barton, or Jordan Barton, out of Lutheran South Academy, all the way from Texas. Good speed. Just a little bit over-eager.
So we'll see what Long can do now as he takes the snap from shotgun. He's looking.
They've got 12 men on the field on defense.
He's got a free play. Doesn't recognize it. Tries to pick up some positive yardage, but either way, they're going to get a replay of the down and pick up some yards.
Well, and they're going to have to do something because Mackay is coming off the edge, and basically he's unblocked right now. And part of it is his alignment, and they can do a couple of things there. Illegal participation there, an automatic first down. So they gave them the big penalty, not the little one. In college football, we have illegal participation, which is a 5-yard penalty, or illegal substitutions, what they call it now. And then illegal participation or 12 men on the field is the 15-yard variety. And they try to avoid giving that to you with all the new no-huddle rules.
Now, Coach, for the fans at home, why would they have got the illegal participation versus the –
Well, I think in high school, I don't think there's that option. And it depends from state to state. We're in South Carolina, so, you know, they make that determination at the high school league office, and National Underclassmen Combine would make determination on what's called here and what options the officials have. And I'm sure they let the officials pretty much make that determination. There's Blackston. Good run.
Good solid run on first down. That's going to be up 2nd and short for him, really about 2nd and 4, looks like.
Blackston is a glider. You know, he's a kind of a slasher and a glider. Watch him here. Nice skip step. Look at him cover that ball up. Nice spin. Look at the ball security.
Ball security was big on that play. He covered up with both arms, kept it in tight to his body. He was able to maintain it throughout.
A little bit of trash talking going on there.
They're going to give it right back to him, understandably so.
Nice defensive play there that time. They came up and made a nice play. They went to Mackay's side, and he's becoming a guy that kind of stands out. Number 3, the left defensive end for the North team, is starting to make plays. I love the way Blackston's built. I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
Long going to take the snap once again from the shotgun. He's got trips to his left, single receiver out to the right. Option little action. So let's see if he decides to keep it himself, and he does. Going to be just short of the first down, depending on the spot, but it looks as if he's going to be 1 yard short.
And he would have had it had he pitched it, but he tucked the ball, and you'll see it right here. Instead of holding it in that position, he converts right here. And the play's dead because they had it defended, but I'd like Blackston's chances, and they're going for it.
Along with the handoff, Blackston's going to be tackled in the backfield. Laundry comes on the field, but that would have been a turnover on down, so let's see what this flag's on.
It'll be interesting to see. It was thrown by the umpire, so I wouldn't think it was an infraction as far as encroachment or maybe illegal procedure. 42 looks pretty upset. Another personal foul. I would be interested to know what the explanation there is, or if we caught it on tape. That's a big penalty because they had penetrated and done an excellent job there.
That's 30 free yards they've given up on this drive alone, and you hate to have 30 yards total for penalty yardage in the game.
You know, and 9, I think, was a linebacker that came through.
That's Jeff Winstead out of Timberline High School.
He's got to feel bad. I mean, he and 42 are playing good football.
Long takes the snap. He's going to look to pass.
Great protection.
He's got a man there, 18, but he drops the ball. Great play by the defensive back there in the corner of the end zone.
Well, now, what technique? You played DB. What technique did he use?
I think he went with the rake technique.
I think he went with the rake, Mark, and we'll see it right here. And what happened? Good play fake, great protection here, good ball. But as the receiver engages the ball, he attacks the receiver's hands, and he does an excellent job there.
That's number 21, I believe, Mark Davis out of James Hubert Blake High School in Maryland, a cornerback.
Kudos to the coaches. That's a high-level technique that he's using as a high school senior, and it was an excellent job there.
Along with the snap, he's going to hand off to your man Blackston.
Big block by 72, I'm sorry. This is what we call a pancake.
72's at Tyler Swindle.
From Hayden High School in Alabama. And you'll see over here to the left-hand side, look at that, boom! You got to love that, and that's what people down in Crimson Tide and War Eagle country like to call a pancake. And they go over his side again.
Blackston's going to pick up the first down. I think it's safe to say, Coach, that we've got some guys that know how to play football down in Alabama.
Look at he's loving it. He's loving it. He understands he's got a freight train over there, and give me the ball. Let me run behind that left side. That's some big-time football there.
Maintaining the shotgun posture. Long's going to take the snap from the shotgun once again. Blackston lined up to his right. Hands it off to Blackston again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, this is a better job, and again, Mackey's over there making the play.
That's the Michigan native, a linebacker, 6 foot, 235 pounds.
Yeah. And he's playing defensive end, and then 28 was in there with him making a nice play.
28's Michael Bazile out of Brick Memorial High School in New Jersey.
And they produce good linebackers, too. You know, it's good football. New Jersey's a hotbed that few people know about in the South, that's for sure.
Long's got a man if he can put it in there, and it looks like he does. Reception made by number 7. That's going to result in a touchdown for the South.
Now, this is a play that we loved at Michigan State when I was there. Kirk Cousins, Keyshawn Martin, who's with the Houston Texans now. We ran this a lot with them. This is called a smash route. It's a smash concept. The widest receiver outside runs a hitch route. And then the touchdown is what we call a corner route.
Timeout by the South, so we'll get a good chance to look at it here.
You can see the corner route here. And that's just a great throw. It's a little bit underthrown, but plenty good. You can see the hitch up top there, standing there, and there's the corner route there.
And Barton does a good job of bringing that ball in and getting his feet down in bounds.
And they were able to match him up. I believe that's a linebacker he's matched up on. But actually, it's a nickel back in the game. They had JaMario McClendon in there out of Bleckley County, who we've seen make some great plays tonight. But they got leverage, in the corner route that we just saw is all about leverage. You want to gain outside leverage on the DB, as you know from playing that, and then lean into him, push off a little but not too much, and make that break to the corner. The ball should be there, and it was. Good protection up front.
You know just as well as I do, there's not a route run where there's not a little bit of discreet pass interference going on that you try not to get seen.
It's going to be one way or the other, and if it's a really good game, it's going to be both ways every time. And, you know, you love to let the kids play, and anytime you get into a high level, you're going to have, you know, we always taught our kids not to extend past the elbow either way, and it usually doesn't get called then.
Long and shotgun once again. Fakes it to Blackston. He's going to try and take it himself. Good pursuit by the defense.
Oh, man.
And there's the player of the year, 23, Fry, on that tackle.
And that's a Michigan State Spartan. And he looks very much like Max Bulla, who's their all Big Ten linebacker now, that we recruited out of Traverse City, Michigan.
Look at the pursuit here, Coach.
Oh, man.
Great job running him down.
He's exactly what they win the Big Ten with, and will be going against Stanford in the Rose Bowl with. And hard-nosed, but a lot faster than people realize. And that was an excellent play. And there you go with a true inside linebacker. And I like the pink shoes. It shows his softer side.
Softer side. He's probably out there supporting breast cancer awareness. So
hey, it's a great cause. And You know, we saw, I think, his future father-in-law downstairs. They're all excited. They're all down here to see him. And I'm excited because, you know, I've got a lot of good friends. Mike Tressel's recruited him out of high school, and he's really acquitted himself very well so far tonight and sort of stood out and definitely stood out there.
Well, as the South takes a 12-point advantage here, we're fairly early in the second quarter with 9 minutes and 49 seconds remaining. We'll see if the North can get their offense going because they've struggled so far.
I think that, you know, they're going to have to look at screen packages, draw packages, and maybe some trick plays because the speed of the South on defense so far has been superior and I'm talking about the back end, the DBs and linebackers, and then their athleticism up front has just been, you know, really, really tough. But they're penetrators, heavy penetrators. Trap plays would work against them if they have a quick trap or maybe the old fullback belly that we saw in the first game.
There you go.
Quick hitting plays, but they're going to have to adjust. And this is, you asked me earlier, Mark, about changing your game plan. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but if I'm the North right now, I'm definitely making some significant adjustments on offense.
Well, let's see if Beaver can put the ball in the air and pin them fairly deep.
Well, the coaches are buddying up to the head ref over there. So we've got some politicking going on. I just like to say coaches earning his money right now. That's the head coach's job.
There you go.
Let the assistant coaches coach and you work the refs. We got a good crowd for this game, and I think folks are having fun.
It's definitely a good game to come and watch. You've obviously seen a lot of talent, and you're seeing talent you wouldn't see generally based on these guys coming from all over the United States.
Well, that's the thing is that we're getting a treat. You know, if we save this roster, Mark, come back next year, it'll be dotted and littered. In 2 or 3 years, you'll have guys, you know, award winners. Johnny Manziel played in this game, Marcus Mariota, and I'm sure numerous others. So it's worth coming out to. If you just love football, I had a guy tell me the other day, I told him I was coming down to him and said, hey, it's a football game and a doggone good one.
28 for the North is going to try and receive it and return it. Here we go.
Got a hole.
He's got a hole. He could take it. He's got one man to beat, Beaver to beat. I don't like his decision there. He cut it inside when he had the slower defender on him.
I think Beaver's overall athletic ability just shocked him.
He definitely got to him. Beaver saved a touchdown for
He's
the South.
fired up on the sidelines, too.
That was 28 for the North on a solid return. Michael Baziel out of that Brick Memorial High School there in the New Jersey native. But I would have really liked to seen him take it to the sideline. That's what I was always preached to when I was playing defensive back. If you make a play, you hit the nearest sideline, and I would have liked to seen him do that.
Well, Beaver held him up for 42 to finish him off. DeAndre Woody finished him off out of Springville, Alabama. But I think he was pretty proud of his effort there.
Let's see who's in at quarterback for the North now. They really need to get on the scoreboard.
And they're in a bunch set now trying to run some rub routes, and they got some people open.
Garrett Schaller in out of Detroit Loyola.
Good run.
Catch there by number 11. Good yak yardage, as we like to call it, yards after the catch. Brendan Smith, Indian Creek High School.
Indiana. He made that good catch earlier and had the fundamentals to tuck the ball away, and he's kind of distinguishing himself now as a really good go-to possession receiver. But as you can see here, they got in a bunch set, and they ran what we call rub routes, where the receivers cross and basically form a pick and ended up getting open, and that's what they're making some adjustments. That's good coaching. This is what we need to see. They're back in a bunch formation again, and they may be able to run it here because there's only 5 in the box with a tight end there. There they go.
Going to try and take it outside. Good tackle.
Yep.
Broke through the tackle, and then it was a solid tackle there on the defense, but the initial contact was no good as 13 for the North continued to keep his feet going. Maurice Woodyard out of West Lafayette.
And this is a very good power run. Great explosion there. You know, reminded me almost of a Walter Payton type run with that high step there. Billy Sims showing my age. I'm not as old as Billy Sims, by the way, but he's got some great power in those hamstrings and quads there, and it showed him breaking that tackle, even though he's not a huge guy.
So Schaller in, quarterback still.
Now a traditional trips formation.
He's got the man in the corner. That's going to be overthrown well out of bounds.
Oh.
He almost made the play. From the initial looks of it, I thought it was going to be uncatchable, but he tried to make the best play he could. and he almost got his feet down. We'll see what they call. They're calling pass interference.
If they call, I think they just signaled pass interference.
Offensively, looks like. They're going to call it on the defense.
And we'll watch this. I don't understand that call.
That's a no call in my opinion. I think they should have let the boys play football.
That's good coverage there by JaMario McClendon. You know, we've seen him make some plays already. I think he's got his counterpart on the north is from his high school too. They're both from Bleckley, but on other teams. That tells you what kind of program they've got if they've got two in this game. But that was a tough call. That was a tough call. DB coach would not like that.
They brought in some big old hogs there in the fullback. Let's see what they can do with it.
They're doing a bit.
It in.
Yeah, good job.
Close, and he makes the extension. He could very well have got in, and
Touchdown.
They do. Touchdown. The North is now on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it's going to be a 12-6 ball game, pending a completion of an extra point or 2-point conversion, depending on what the coaches decide to do. It could turn into an 8 or 7-point ball game.
And that was Tywan Martin out of Bradley in Ohio, Hilliard Bradley in Ohio. Big power run there, and no penetration up front. If you notice on that replay there, the offensive line got foot to foot, cut down their splits. That's a good adjustment, and they just came right at them. And sometimes with a high-octane, real fast defense, getting toe-to-toe and just washing them down or blowing them off the ball, if you can do that with a big back is the way to go, and it certainly worked on the goal line.
It did indeed, Coach, and we just witnessed our first PAT attempt.
Yeah,
line number 5 for the North made the successful kick. DiMaggio, he's a multitasker, multi-talented athlete. He's out there doing a wide variety of positions, quarterbacking and doing the PATs.
Well, you know, the thing about anytime you see a kid that can do more than one thing, it's a plus. You know, you put that in the plus column when you're evaluating a recruit because, you know, just in the like the NFL, you know, they have the salary cap they work with. You know, and you have a scholarship limit in college. If you're at small college, you basically have a salary cap too. You know, once you get below FCS level, you're dealing with 36 scholarships at the most to try to get 100 and some odd guys. When you see a guy that's got more than one skill, you know, he can be a quarterback and a punter, or he can long snap, or he can hold, that adds value to that player. And DiMaggio will probably move up some recruit boards because of his ability to kick too.
Well, and I don't know if there's a trend, but if you notice from the last game, the number 5 seems to be a popular number amongst some pretty talented players. We had E.J. Humphrey in the first game, had 3 or 4 touchdowns, so 5 is definitely living up to his reputation as being a good number.
Well, E.J. Humphrey's a name for all of you out there that's an 8th grader that if you weren't with us for the first game, you need to keep him on your radar out of Powdersville, South Carolina. Father played football at Rutgers. His cousin is an All-American tight end, Ephron, at North Carolina, will be drafted pretty highly this year, and he's going to be a special player.
Nice kick there by the North. It's going to be fielded by the South. Looks like he's got a good little run. 28 with the return for the South there. 22, excuse me, Anthony Dozier out of University High School in Florida.
And we've seen Dozier play cornerback, you know, and do extremely well as a 6'1" cover corner. That's one thing we look for. Some of the places I've been is great length at corner. You know, Darquez Dillard, who's a Jim Thorpe Award winner, I was fortunate enough to be able to evaluate him along with Coach Dave Warner. We got Darquez out of Georgia at Michigan State, and he won the Thorpe Award last week. And Darquez, he reminds me very much of Darquez, and at this point in Darquez's career, he had Arkansas State, and that was it. And we got him.
Good hard run there by the running back for the South.
And Darquez goes about 6'1", and so does Dozier. So you like what you see there. Hopefully his grades are good and he gets an opportunity to shine.
Familiar traits there.
Very familiar.
The North could really use a defensive stop here on this possession. They get back in this ball game. It's only a 5-point deficit. However, if the North can stop the South here, you could be a change in momentum.
Yeah, definitely. They've definitely got the momentum on their side right now. Good run.
Running back by number 12 there for the South. I really like what I see out of him, Coach. He's got some speed on him.
Again, it's a change of pace. You know, you go from the big back down to Roberson, and Roberson out of Dutch Fork High School, local product out of Columbia. gives you the change of pace, and it's tough on the defense. Great block by number 18 out there that time, too, Ronnie Reed. It was a good block, pancake for a receiver.
South once again kind of looking over the sideline to get the play from the Lackawanna University or junior college coaching staff. 8 in at quarterback for them. That's Bud Martin. See if he can make a play. He's going to look to pass on this down. Underthrown, going to be incomplete there. Would have liked to seen a little better ball, but had some defensive pressure on him, so he probably rushed the throw a little bit. Didn't step into it quite like he should.
I think he could have actually held on to it. I think he perceived more pressure than he had. We can see here just how much he had, but he didn't finish the throw, as you said very astutely. He got rid of it quickly, and I think he rushed the throw a little bit, but he'll settle in and do better.
Martin takes the snap, hands off to our Dutch Fork representative here, number 12 for the South. Good hard run. It's going to come up about 2 yards shy, 3 yards shy of the first down.
We had an excellent block there by Nicholas Ferguson on the edge out of Nakuchi, Georgia. And you can see it here. He's a tackle here. But you see him, great reach block there, sealing the defensive end. And good hard run by Roberson. Shows you he has toughness.
Change of personnel for the South. Jamaz Richardson in out of Camp Lejeune at running back. Bud Martin remains in at quarterback for the South. So we'll see if the Jacksonville representative can do something. Martin's looking deep. He's got a man. 32 was out there and just didn't have a good read on the ball and misjudged it. If
you watch the South right now, they've got a little bit of a tendency. They're throwing to their left and running to their right. And they have number 14 and 18, Reed and Knight, down at the bottom. They're bigger receivers, more like a Jacob Tammy and Dallas Clark type guys, H-back types. They're having to punt here. But they're able to run because those are oversized receivers, more like tight ends, and they're banging those DBs and getting good runs, and I think they need to stay with that because their passing game hadn't really caught up to their running game yet.
Looks like Knight's serving as the punter as well, and not a bad punt. He angled it towards the sideline. It could very well fall. No, it's not going to fall inside the 20. It's going to fall at about the 22-yard line, but not too bad from the old tight end.
Well, I'll tell you something about the 20-yard line. It's very, very, very important for a lot of reasons, but studies have shown that if you can force a team to drive the ball 80 yards or more, they only have the opportunity to score 1 out of every 12 drives. Now, that was a study done in the NFL several years ago, and as college coaches, we always really rely on those guys in the NFL because they have research departments that do that sort of thing. But even, that's just a chance to score, and sometimes that's a result of a missed field goal. So getting it inside that 20-yard line is a big deal in football.
1 out of 12, I think as a defense coordinator, I'd take those odds every day.
Absolutely. Great block by 55 there.
And a good tackle by 15 coming up and wrapping the legs up with the running back.
Yeah, there were some good plays going on there. I'm an old offensive line guy, but 55 there.
55 is the Gus Davini out of Cherryville High School in North Carolina.
And you can see here the pancake on number 9 there, and then a great form tackle by 15 for the South.
Abraham.
And Abraham again showing up. Good football all the way around, and we've said that a few times tonight, Mark.
DiMaggio back in at quarterback for the North, so we'll see if they can get some more offense going. DiMaggio did a fairly well job on his first down.
Corner pressure by Abraham here, no.
Going to try and bust it out the outside.
Good block down here. 13 just with a devastating block on the edge, and they pick up the first down.
27 was the ball carrier on that. Jackson Marlowe out of Concord.
Watch this block by 13 here, the lead blocker. Boom! 13, look at that.
That's Maurice Woodyard or Woodard.
Yeah, he's rocking. That's called rocking the house right there, bringing the hat. That's the kind of football that I love to see. That's what the game is all about.
Woodard is the representative of West Lafayette.
And again, right there in Purdue's backyard, they've got to be taking notice of what he's doing.
DiMaggio's going to take this snap under center. Receivers split out. Backs in an I formation.
And they're in a bear defense there. A lot of pressure. Good catch.
Good catch there by 81, but it's not going to pick up much. Maybe a gain of 1 yard, but 81 did a good job utilizing his hands. Tyler Zeeland at a Boyertown area senior in Pennsylvania.
And that's his second catch on the night. Very, very good hands. Good footwork, play action by the quarterback here with pressure in his face. Look at him catch that ball away. Not a big pickup, but if you're evaluating tight ends, he reminds me a lot of a guy named Charlie Gant that we had at Michigan State, and then Deion Sims, who's down with the Miami Dolphins. Big guys that can block but have soft hands.
Soft hands are key at the tight end position.
It's hard to find them. And 81's definitely got those tools.
JaMario going back under center for this play. Nice little handoff to the fullback there, but it looked like as if they fumbled the football, so it'll be interesting to see if they were able to maintain possession. But that could have been a little miscommunication there, a botch play, but it looked as if they were trying to hand it off to the fullback.
Well, he's already scored 1 touchdown tonight, and, you know, we talked earlier about quick hitting plays nullifying the speed and quickness of this South defense. And there they got some penetration, had problems handling the ball, but they don't need to get away from that because that will work for them. They've been able to establish themselves physically a little bit more here in the latter part of the second quarter.
Just now closing in on 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter, so they're definitely North that's going to try and put another score on the board before the halftime.
I don't know why they've gotten away from their bunch formation, Mark, because it was really good to them.
JaMario's going to roll to his left.
They're covered.
Throws a good ball, but a great defensive play there by number 20 for the South.
Selwyn Torbert out of Auburn High School in Auburn, Alabama. They play any football around there?
They played a little bit of football, maybe for a title coming up.
Yeah, I believe they got that bowl game after the Rose Bowl in the same stadium.
And I could be mistaken, but it looks as if there's 2 Torbert brothers from Auburn High playing.
Maybe twins.
Selwyn and Selwyn, so
yep.
That's
you know,
always nice for the parents to have 2 players on a team like this.
It's an excellent breakup, and it shows, again, going back to the athletic ability of the defensive backs. The North needs to stay with the bunch sets with the power run, the quick hit things, quick hitting runs. There's an error right there in field position. Spreading out like that's not going to because they were covered completely on the back end there.
85 Joshua Timms was unable to field that punt cleanly, so it's going to result in a loss of about 10 yards based on the initial spot where he was initially trying to catch the football.
And, you know, Josh, just to give people an idea, is 6'1", 205 pounds. It gives you an idea of how big these kids are because he looks like a smaller guy out there on the football field.
He does.
We walked by these guys coming back up to the booth, and we were both impressed, weren't we, Mark, with the overall size of these young men.
Definitely looked as if they could be in a college uniform, that's for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
So in at quarterback, we got Rominger back in at quarterback for the South. Looks as if the South has kind of entrusted him to take the majority of the snaps here in this first half. Going to hand off to the Camp Lejeune rep, 23 for the South, but once again, 23 Fry, the player of the year for the National Underclassmen Combine, is in the backfield making a great tackle.
Excellent job by Fry. And again, you know, they're going to lose Max Bulla, but I think the Spartans are going to be just fine. And they're taking him out of Ohio State's backyard, as we were told over and over downstairs. And they have gotten a lot of good players out of Ohio over the years. There's so many there. There's sometimes as many as 300 guys sign scholarships out of that state. So
Rominger under some heavy pressure. He's going to try and make. Ooh. And once again, Fry with another tackle, clearly making a statement in this first half. And I like the level of physicality that he's bringing to the game. He's a hard-nosed player. Yeah. He gets to the football, and he's running sideline to sideline.
He is a typical hard-nosed Ohio high school football player with Division I ability. That's what they look like, and he's a great representative of that state.
Fry right now is sitting at roughly 215 pounds. I think once he gets up to Michigan State and gets in that phenomenal strength and conditioning program, you might very well see him at 235 pounds and still running a 4.5 or a 4.4.
Yeah. Ken Manny is the head strength coach at Michigan State. Tommy Hoax is top assistant, along with Mike Vorkapik, who does basketball, and they're some of the very best in the country. And they're all diehard Michigan State guys, but they do an elite job.
Brandon Bowman on the north side with the tackle, but had some laundry come on the field. It could have been helmet to helmet. It looks like they're backing up the South, so
probably a hold. Yeah. It must have been the end man on the line of scrimmage here, tight end or offensive tackle. And it's an outside play for maybe a wide receiver, but for the line judge to throw the flag over there, that usually means end man on the line of scrimmage. That's his key.
42 is quite the stout linebacker as well. That's Bowman. He's got some size on him.
He does.
Fills that Mike linebacker position fairly well.
He's a true what we call plugger, run stuffer. be a guy that, will be in a conference where you run the option. You want a guy like that because he can stop that dive.
That'd be similar to something like London Fletcher.
Yes.
Somewhere along those lines.
Yes, absolutely. Same kind of guy.
So as Rominger waits to take the play from the sideline, we're closing in on the last minute of the second half, or the first half here, excuse me. Minute and 20 seconds remaining. The South's facing 3rd down and 15.
I'm shocked that two things, and of course they have to play a lot of people, but he hadn't gone back tonight lately on an option route, which is a route where they again read the leverage of the defensive back and turn away from him. But this would be a good time to go to him or throw a screen pass even. This is a good screen area for him. It'd be a safe play for him to protect that lead going into the half.
Now in a situation like this, Coach, you think they're holding on to that last timeout until after the 3rd down they get it to 4th down? I
absolutely do. I think that, they've got the play they want to run. They've got Rominger in there who I think they're confident in. And they're just their work now. They're going to call the timeout. They let it run down a little bit, so they get the 1st down. They can move it. If they don't, they minimize the amount of time that the North's going to have to run the football, or to try to drive the football, I should say.
As the coaches come out, looks like the coaches from the north side are going to try and utilize the good old-fashioned chalkboard there to draw up a play.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't want they're over on the other side of the field, and nobody in the press box or anything. Most of the coaches, I think, are down on the field. So this is an all-star game, and even if it wasn't, that's the best teaching method I know is a visual aid. Most of our kids play this sport are visual learners, and it's still the best way to teach.
Well, as the South leads by 5 here, we approach the last minute of the first half, 55 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 15 for the South. So with the conversion, they could very well run out the clock and take the lead into halftime. With a failed 3rd down here, it's going to force 4th down, and the North has a chance to take the lead before half.
And I would say Fry would be very active on this play.
Going to hand it off to 23. He's got some wheels on him. Great job there.
Oh.
Phenomenal run. He's going to pick up the 1st down. And ladies and gentlemen, the run that Jamaz Richardson just did out of Camp Lejeune was absolutely phenomenal. It's hard to explain, and you can only appreciate the magnitude of the run when you witness it in person.
You'll see it right here. He makes a great cut there, and look at that. That's in another one, and Fry again,
Fry
great pursuit.
Missed that tackle. So Rominger is going to look deep. He's going to overthrow this one. It's going to be incomplete.
They've got to get the thing I see is their running game is there. The timing on the passing is a little bit off right now, and they're going to have to make some adjustments at halftime. If they do that, they could separate themselves. But as long as they struggle in the passing game and get away from the run at all, the North's going to have a chance to catch them.
Well, Richardson being out of Camp Lejeune, I think it's safe to say his father or mother's in the United States Marine Corps, so that young man possesses some discipline.
Oh, yeah, and you saw the toughness too. Fry, as we know, is a Big Ten linebacker, and he ran through that tackle.
There goes Rominger with a nice ball downfield, but it's going to be overthrown once again. Good effort there by the receiver, but just out of reach for the receiver and the defensive back.
Well, it's classic cover, 2 coverage. 28 there came off the hash for him.
That's Michael Bazile out of that Brick Memorial High School, the New Jersey native.
Good job playing off the hash and cover 2. They're going no huddle here, but they're playing a press cover 2 where they're pressing and rerouting the receivers, and they've got their safeties playing deep to try to prevent any kind of deep ball. And here's
South's
a run.
facing 3rd and 10. They decide to hand it off to Richardson. It's going to result in a gain of 1. Be interesting to see whether or not the North utilizes their last time out.
It was an excellent play by the defensive lineman there, and we haven't had a lot to say about defense as far as against the run game, but right there, great job there. I think that's number 93. And the thing is, he used his hands to play off the block and then make the tackle.
And Derrick Davis, he's out of Central Davidson, North Carolina, 280 pounds. So the young man has got some size on him, and he obviously has some speed because he made that play.
Yeah, excellent job there. And, a guy that's going to have a promising college career, maybe with a 1AA level, FCS level being 6'1" and not 6'4". But I've seen a lot of 6'1" guys make great big-time football players too, and that was a big-time play. And we've seen what that tailback's capable of already on a couple plays ago.
There used to be a man by the name of Casey Hampton, played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wasn't too tall, but he can make some plays.
Absolutely. You go with John Randall, who's in the Hall of Fame, and Randall was barely 6 feet tall, but one of the most dominant pass rushers for a 3 technique or interior defensive lineman in the history of the NFL.
So Knight's going to punt the ball. North is going to utilize a 2-return set there to kind of limit any option for the ball gaining some extra yards once it hits the ground. So now the North's going to take over with 22 seconds remaining and no timeouts left.
And you got, what I would look for here if I'm at center is I need some help on Trae Gardner. He's got an Air Force offer, which tells me he's an excellent student and one of the best spin moves or quick swims I've seen in a long time. So if I'm the center, I'm asking for help on number 60 for the South.
Key fundamental to take into consideration this one is don't let anybody behind you if you're a defensive back. The last thing you want to do is give up a big play before the halftime. You don't want to let any momentum shift. You've got the lead. Don't let somebody beat you over top.
I think that the North had 12 men on the field. Had a tight end sneak out there along with 4 receivers and a running back, and that adds up to 12 last time I checked. So they're going to be backing up.
You hate to see a team lose yardage like that. They've had quite a number of penalty yards that they've accumulated throughout this first half. So hopefully with some locker room adjustments, they can cut down on their penalties throughout.
Good call there, good conservative call, and I think it caught the South off guard a little, but I think they're willing to concede it too.
They're trying to line up as quickly as possible and get another snap off or at least spike the ball to stop the clock and be able to go back and get one more play in before the halftime. So
South is playing what we call an umbrella coverage with basically a 5-deep look, giving things up underneath, especially in the middle of the football field. So, the run up the middle was successful. Any kind of crossing route here that's underneath about 12 yards ought to be open. And the only problem they got is they were out of timeouts, I believe, Mark.
Says they have them listed at 1 on the board there, but I believe the North utilized 2 earlier in the game, and they just utilized 1, so they should be out of them now. But Linton did a good job of getting that snap off and stopping the clock with a spike, so they've got 9 seconds remaining before the end of the half. Linton had some time, but he's going to underthrow his receiver.
They ran on that route. They ran what we call a switch route, and that's just literally like it sounds. The outside receiver runs a post. The inside receiver runs what we call a wheel route around back behind him. But the South's back bailing right now and just not wanting to concede anything deep. Like you said, don't let anybody behind you.
Linton's trying to feed Dukes. His wide receiver, who's also the National Underclassmen Combine Offensive Player of the Year, and he's received offers from Illinois and the Naval Academy, the football here, but he's been unable to do so thus far.
Good.
Could be intercepted, and it's going to be intercepted by number 44. Let's see if he can make something happen. This is a linebacker's dream come true here. He's going to be tackled at the 5-yard line as the half expires, but a great play there by number 44.
It's William Yarborough out of Payson, Arizona. Long way from home, but he made the trip worthwhile with that one play, and they had a great pass rush there too.
Looked as if either Linton had somebody get a hand on his arm or he had the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. I was unable to see.
I think it's number 84, and you can see 60 bearing down. 84 gets a piece of his arm there. That's Tony Zalfore from Station Camp High School in Tennessee, and he's representing the Volunteer State very well. He's shown up a couple of times tonight.
So as the half comes to an end here, the South is leading 12-7 over the North, a 5-point advantage. Should be an interesting second half. The game's still within 1 or 2 possessions, and I'm interested to see how the North adjusts and comes out in the second half.
Well, I think they've already started their adjustment process and actually did some good things, and we'll have some highlights come up here in a minute and talk about those. But they started out having a lot of trouble with the South speed, especially up front with penetration, and they made some adjustments, ran some quick hitters, ran that bunch set that got them their touchdown, and then got foot to foot and powered in with a big back. And I think that that may not be the sexiest way to do it, but sometimes you got to do what works. And as a coach, you have to put your ego in your pocket sometimes, and we call it playing left-handed, but you do some things that maybe aren't your style or aren't your hallmark plays. And that's kind of what I see them having to do, and they're on their way. I think we're going to have a great second half. I think that's going to be the key. And then, special teams, because right now we know the North has a kicker that's legitimate, and the South I don't think does. I think that, big old offensive lineman out of Arkansas, Beaver, is my boy, but he's doing that to help the team out. And they might have bribed him with some red shoes to get him to do it. But
there you go, because he stands out quite a bit with those shoes.
Oh, yeah. And I think that, South too, I think if we look at them, we talk about the North's game plan, but, when the South's been at their best is when Coleman, Blackston's in the game. And then, they got Knight and Reed over there, two big receivers, and they're running right. They've had a lot of success doing that, and then running left when the big boy from Alabama's in there. He had a couple of big pancake blocks, number 72, Tyler Swindle. He's got every Ivy League school in the country has offered him.
Clearly his academics are in line and in order.
And and TCU. And see, this is, when you talk about TCU football, and we haven't talked a lot about a lot of schools tonight, but there's a school that specializes in going and getting kids nobody else really wants at that level and beating you with them. I mean, they won a Rose Bowl. Nobody really wanted Andy Dalton, and he's doing quite well for the Bengals now.
He's got them in the playoffs, getting ready to be in there, so he's definitely done a good job.
And I would say Tyler Swindle's as dominant a lineman as we've seen out here tonight, and what he's doing out there. And I think if we see Tyler Swindle in there, along with Knight and Reed doing the blocking on the perimeter, Blackston running it along with the other backs, they've got a lot of good backs. That's their ticket, And I think if we'll see what happens in the second half, but the North has definitely narrowed the gap and made adjustments to make this a very tight football game.
And obviously both sides are possessing a lot of talent, but how about number 92 out of the South? We haven't had a chance to mention his name tonight, but Randy Ramsey out of Dillard High School in Florida, the defensive end. He's 6'2", 205 pounds, and he's received offers from the likes of Arkansas, Cincinnati, Kentucky, North Carolina State, Rutgers, Wake Forest, and Illinois, as well as Western Kentucky University. So he's got quite a resume built up right there.
He does. We haven't seen him really show up, and I think it's not so much that he's not doing things. It's just that the South has got so many athletes, and their DBs have kind of stood out to me. Fry for the North has definitely shown why he's a Michigan State commit. I mean, he is all over the field, borderline out of control at times, which is what you want out of a linebacker. You need a cat that's 900 miles an hour. But I think probably, like in the first game, as it gets to be prime time late in this football game, we're going to find out who the dudes are. The guys that are the studs, they'll step up, and in the immortal words of Deion Sanders, primetime players make primetime plays.
There you go, that's it.
And that sounds flashy, but is very true.
And we got Troy Durham also out of the North. He was the linebacker of the year, number 15 for the North side, so I'm going to be interested to see how well he can play, too, in the second half. Unfortunately for the North, their defense has been on the field all game, so we're waiting to really see the offensive production turn on.
The South of Blackston, they dominated the first quarter so thoroughly, ran the ball so much. We kind of looked up, and there was 8 minutes to go in the second quarter before the North kind of got its bearings about it. And, from that point on, they took it to the South in some respects, but definitely in all respects held their own. And I think that as we head into the second half, we're going to have to find out who's going to assert themselves, and it's really, in a way, going to come down to the coaches. If they're going to keep rotating running backs, or are they going to feed Blackston on the south side and run him off that left side with those big receivers blocking for him, or are they going to continue to, coach typical all-star game ball and let everybody play? And I think that, the young man out of Camp Lejeune has done an excellent job tonight. Richardson has done an excellent job as a change of pace back. So they've got a 1-2 punch there, but throwing the football has not been something that's been good for them. They've completed very few passes. And if that opens up for them, they could be real successful. But the North has done a good job defending the pass.
And so far with the North, they've also been doing the little two-quarterback system in Linton and DiMaggio. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not one develops a routine and a rhythm. And if the coaching staff decides to go with that quarterback, it seems as if the second part of the the first half there, they decided to put the ball in Linta's hands quite a bit. So we'll see if DiMaggio comes out in the second half and takes over, because he was the initial starting quarterback, and now it's just a matter of really who can put some points on the board, because it's all about directing and leading your guys. And
I think Linton is a polished passer. DiMaggio's a little bit more athletic. On the other side, Rominger showed us, deceptive speed and the good pocket awareness, but the passing game kind of deteriorated for them as they went along. And I think, if you look over at the north there, number 11,
Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith out of Indiana is another kid, along with 81, their big tight end, are guys that they probably need to feature in their possession, the possession part of their passing game. They're not deep threats. But, their touchdown drives were spearheaded by those guys out of bunch sets. And big tight end's shown he's got great hands. And hopefully they will feature those guys. But there are a lot of – this game is anybody's game. It could come down to turnovers. It could come down to the kicking game. I think if it comes down to the kicking game, and I'm talking about field goals now, the North wins.
Yeah, the North has been the only team thus far that's displayed a kicker who can actually perform outside of a kickoff duty, with the conversion of the PAT earlier by the North. But it could be interesting. We've got a lot of good talent on both sides. A lot of these guys are from committing to their hometown universities. I noticed that Jonathan Troll out of Charlotte Christian, North Carolina, the offensive tackle, he's 6'4", 285 pounds, and he's committed to be a Tar Heel.
Oh yeah, and that's most every kid's dream in that state to go to that school, and a lot of people don't realize what a great job they did between the regular season, when they had significant injuries. They lost Bryn Renner, mid-season. The senior quarterback had been, I think, honorable mention All-ACC. Had to come in with a young guy and develop him. But bowl game time came. They played in Charlotte and really just took Cincinnati apart. And I thought that they did an excellent job getting their team ready from their last game of the year to the bowl game. And I think Larry Fedora's got a bright future there. Hope he's there a long time. I know that and their special teams may be the best in the country. And that's one of the things that has been his hallmark at Southern Miss. So look for North Carolina to continue recruiting well in-state especially. And nationally they have a good presence because their basketball program's so good.
Well, and you mentioned bowl games, and the former representatives that participate in this game here, Manziel and Mariota. Mariota, I believe, participated in the bowl game today, if I'm correct.
Alamo Bowl, and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of that experience, and the city of San Antonio does a phenomenal job. You go down there for 7 days, and it's just an excellent bowl, and obviously I was on the road traveling down here, would love to know how Oregon fared in that. I think they have one of the most exciting offensive schemes in the country, and they're so much fun to watch.
They definitely do, and they had a lot of talent.
They do. And I think, you look at Phil Knight, their booster there, and they've taken marketing and put it into recruiting. They were the first ones to use the multi-colored helmet. And I don't mean by multicolored one helmet. They have, 7 or 8 different helmets?
7 or 8, and I think they brought out a new uniform for this game, so for the bowl game. So they've definitely got quite a number of uniforms. That definitely appeals to the high school athletes who are looking to find a college or university to commit to.
And Mariota has decided to come back and play another year. I think that's a great decision for the University of Oregon.
That's big for the fans that are in Eugene, that's for sure.
No doubt, and I think it's fun for all of us because he's just such a fun guy to watch play college football. And, it's going to be interesting when he gets back. But from what I understand, his recovery, his rehab with his knees going extremely well. And that's what you want to hear if you're a fan of this sport. Is to hear the better players, more exciting players making successful comebacks off injuries.
Well, Mariota is clearly representing the National Underclassmen Combine well, as this season he went through for 30 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. And I would attribute probably 2 of those interceptions that he had to that knee injury. He tried to do a little too much when he was unable to do so, but he's back and he's healthy now, and he's going to come back next year, and there's no doubt that those fans in Eugene love having him back, and he's going to hopefully take those guys on a title run. I know that's why he's trying to come back.
Well, he reminds me so much, not maybe his style of play, but in his approach to the game and what he values of Peyton Manning when he was at Tennessee. He could have come out early went very high. Of course, we're all still waiting to hear if Teddy Bridgewater at Louisville. He says he's coming back. You know, he's an overall #1 rated guy on most boards and easily in the top 10 in the draft. But Peyton Manning turned all that down to play 4 years at Tennessee, and it certainly didn't do anything but help him. And to see Mariota coming back, I think he feels like he's got some unfinished business. And you know they're going to be in the national title hunt every year. And it was really unfortunate to see them lose, and it was obvious after about the second quarter that something wasn't right with him. And playing somebody like Stanford, I mean, they're awesome anyway. It was tough, and when it came out later, I really liked the fact that the coaching staff there didn't make an excuse. They never let on that he was injured. It came out on its own, and the media uncovered it. But that lack of excuse-making by Mariota showed me his character, and the fact that he's coming back and not bolting to the NFL really bodes well for college football, not just Oregon.
Well, and Stanford's always a tough team to play. It takes 4 quarters to beat those guys. They've done a great job down there. That head coach is a prime candidate for some of these NFL openings with the firing of numerous coaches in the NFL. I think today we had Shanahan get fired, Schwartz, 4 total. So, I mean,
Chudzinski after only 1 year at Cleveland, which is really, if you're a coach, it makes you nervous. You know, I'll tell you, I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with David Shaw, and he is a first-class individual. His dad, Willie, of course, is an longtime NFL assistant coach, and Coach Shaw, David, that is I think expressed an interest to remain at Stanford. And if you've ever seen that campus, you can understand why he would. And he's everything that's right about college football, and after being with him and spending time with him, is a absolutely first-class individual. So, the Pac-12 has really improved over the years and has become one of the very best conferences in college football. It's no longer USC's Southern Cal's playground,
right?
You know, and you've got the emergence of both of the Arizona schools now, and there's a lot of competition in that league and a lot of good football out there.
As the players are out here warming up, we've got about a minute and a half before the second half gets ready to kick off. Looks like the South's pretty fired up, and the North is as well. So I know these guys are getting excited. They want to kick it off. The weather's holding out great. It's been really a good night for football, especially the offensive linemen. I know they're loving this weather.
Well, this is a perfect football weather anywhere you go, and I think that, you know, the facilities here have been upgraded over the years. We're both native South Carolinians, and we've watched the transition of Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, named for one of the very best coaches and men to ever grace a sideline in this state. His Myrtle Beach teams were incredible. You know, watch this field be redone and become a showpiece where it can host this game and the North-South game in this state is a lot of fun. And then they even have turf practice fields. So when you practice, you get the same sensation you will on the game field you do on the practice field, and that makes a difference, I think. And it shows you the commitment they have down here in Myrtle Beach to the all-star games that they host and to their high school program who won a state championship this year.
That's right, and the city of Myrtle Beach is extremely supportive of football, not only locally but nationally as well, which is clearly evident with the teams here today and the representatives of each state throughout the United States.
Well, I can tell you that as a college coach coming in here recruiting, I was treated as well here as anywhere I ever went. They were always extremely happy to see me come in and made you feel very welcome. And you know, they've had so many great players. Of course, now you immediately think of Everett Golston, who's Notre Dame's quarterback, and will be back with him. I guess when the school year comes back in for second semester, he'll be reinstated. And that's great news for Irish fans and bad news for everybody else.
That's it.
But he did some very magical things on this field, and I think we're getting ready to see a few more magical moments here in this second half.
Everett Golston definitely instilled a winning tradition here. Myrtle Beach has always been known to be a solid program, but Everett Golston was able to contribute and win some state championships. And then, as you just mentioned, they won one just recently. So Myrtle Beach is doing a great job. The coaching staff has done a phenomenal job. They're going to continue to be a powerhouse within the years to come. And then the National Underclassmen Combine is doing a great job of utilizing the facilities that have been offered to them and putting on a great show. And, you know, we have to take some time to thank the camera crews that are out here doing work for us and being able to put on a good show, not only for us, but the audience at home.
Yes, I've been very impressed with the professionalism that we've encountered being here. The entire staff's been nothing but first class, and the kids have been treated to an absolutely fabulous weekend, and I'm very thankful that we could be a part of it.
Indeed, thankful as well. So it looks as if the South is getting ready to receive the football for the start of the second half. We'll see if they can do anything. Going for a little onside, but that's not going to get the 10 yards there. Be interesting. Well, critical mistake by the South. They try to recover it just shy of the 10-yard mark, and looks as if the North might get it, but we'll see what the officials finally rule.
We got both sides pointing in opposite directions. And
you always got to love that.
And they're giving it to the South, but you know, that's one that was a close call. And here's a replay of it. It's a little drag kick, is what we called it, and he just kicks the top of the ball, outruns it, and you can see it creeping the 10 yards. And boy, I think that went 10 yards.
That was close, Coach. I think that might have, if they have any replay, which they're showing it on the screen there, but I don't know if they can implement replay in this or not.
You can't tell because of the M and the logo there. If you know, that's a tough one. And it was a close call, but the official, to his credit, was right over it, and I've ragged them enough tonight. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. I think they had a much better angle than we did.
The life of the official.
Hey, I love them.
Always a tough one. Well, we got our man Fry out there. He's been a playmaker all day, so we'll see what he can do on the defense side.
He's covering the slot there.
He needs to get his offense the ball back if they want to have a chance of winning this game.
And the thing about these surprise onsides, and I understand their defense has been playing well, you know, but great field position for the South here.
Already starting on the opponent's side of the 55-yard line there.
Yeah, we would call that the plus 45 there in football terms, bubble screen. Better off dropping that ball, Mark. You know, you lose, you catch it, you lose.
Completion instead of taking the 5-yard loss there.
And, of course, that takes some awareness. And the receiver there, Jordan Barton, in his mind, he's just catching the football. He's not worried. Evidently, it was an incompletion, so that worked out for him.
So they keep the ball at the 45 and hand off to 12 for the North, but he's going to be tackled just past the line of scrimmage there.
That's Roberson out of Dutch Fork.
He's had a pretty good game. That was one of his lesser runs that he's had, but he's been averaging pretty good yards per carry.
Yeah, and you can see here, 33 here, big defensive end from the North. Does a nice job closing down, beats his blocker.
33 is Aaron Tiller out of Ohio.
And his older brother's the guy that is down at Southern University. Nice job there.
So in for quarterback, we got A.J. Long.
Oh,
for the South.
Tiller had a bead on him there.
Good job by Long getting it out. He tried to feed it tonight, but a great play there by the defensive back, number 22, Elijah Olison, out of Camden High School in Missouri.
Yeah, excellent job there. And the right tackle right now is having some issues. Tiller has decided, as we like to say, turn the wick up, and he's bringing the heat right now. And good series. I mean, you know, the North's defense has really played well and played with their backs to the wall a lot, but it's worked for them.
So Knight back to punt, Olison back to receive. Got a two-returner set once again. Pretty good job there by that return man, limiting the ball going behind him, but I would have liked to see him get underneath it and field a little more by Alan Hayes.
Smart move by Hayes to at least take the ball and push it forward. He probably saved them 8 yards doing that, depending on the roll of the football. But it was about as smart a move as you could make. The North dodged a bullet. They took a gamble. It didn't pan out, and their defense made it okay. And
made a play for them. So
they really did. Tiller was dominant in that deal there in 22. Made a great play on the ball, breaking on the ball there.
So Ramsey's in. He's playing left end right now. Let's see if he can make a play there. That's the man who's got numerous offers from a wide variety of universities. They've done a good job thus far, and we'll see if they can continue that trend. Number 10 there on the carry, Kerrigan Pennington. And
he's their big back. You know, he scored earlier. He plays some fullback for him too. But again, penetration up front by and you can see here, trying to pull the nose guard again out of Dunbar is just dominating this football game. And if I'm a college coach, I'm saying, hey, you know, he's got an Air Force offer, which means he's highly intelligent, a guy you really want to take a hard look at.
I'd like to see him try and get the ball to Duke's 84 here. That's their big receiver threat. He's the player of the year, offensive player of the year, so we'll see if the North can do it to him.
You know, I think that there's a missed tackle by a player of the year.
What I like there, 73. Look at the offensive lineman downfield.
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
Oh, not 81 with a big block, too.
Phenomenal job by 73 and 81 blocking downfield for number 10 there.
And it was Dozier that came from the other side of the field to make the play, I believe.
So Pennington with a solid run there. He picked up an easy first down for him.
Good physical run. 56 misses a tackle. 73 running down the field. Watch the power here. Great crackback block there by the tight end. And I'm sorry, that's not Dozier. That's number 26. That's Evan McDowell out of Seven Lakes High in Texas. Want to make sure we give people credit. He came from the other side of the field at corner. You can see him up top there and made that play. Good hustle and great run.
73 was Nicholas Ferguson downfield. Always like to see second effort by your offensive lineman getting deep downfield.
Well, you know, their missed tackles in the backfield really hurt the South. But that big physical running back, he has hurt them tonight. You know, he has been a difference maker because he is so physical. Tylen Martin, and he's done a great job. He has been a guy that's kind of been their downfall, you know, because one thing about penetrating defenses is you get a lot of arm tackles, Mark, and he can break those arm tackles of those defensive linemen, and that's what happened there.
Anytime you can break some arm tackles and keep your feet running, you're going to get some positive yardage or yak yardage. We like
absolutely. Yards after contact, absolutely right.
7 back at quarterback is going to roll out to his left. He's got a receiver there in the flats. Good job of getting the ball to 27. Makes some positive yardage out of it. Jackson Marlowe out of Concord.
Yeah, good job and good play concept there. Simple, easy to execute, and you know they picked up the penalty yardage plus about 5 more yards, and that's an easy throw, easy catch.
Good job of feeding the flats. Keeps his feet running. 16 does a good job there for the South, though, coming in and securing the tackle. David Mims out of Evans High School in Georgia.
This brings up a second and medium, and they now they can dictate terms here. I'd love to see them in that bunch set here. I think it'd be good for them.
Schaller in still at quarterback.
They could
so it looks
run
like they're
this.
kind of avoiding going with Linta and DiMaggio right now. They're going to use Schaller.
Oh, that
good
nice
quick
throw.
pass, but dropped by 84 Dukes. I really would have liked to see him make that play. That's the offensive player of the year there. But
good-looking athlete, overeager, I think, you know, wanting to get down the field with it and not looking it in. And you know, we've seen quite a bit of that tonight as we go through things. But they seem to have found some things on the north side, made some adjustments here that are working because that was open. Should have been caught.
Schaller in the shotgun set. He's got his back line up to the right side of him. Let's see if he can find him an open target. A little bobble snap there. See if he can get any pressure. Great pursuit.
There's our guy.
And you wonder why he's got all the recruits coming after him, or the recruiters coming after him, I should say. And clearly he just showed it why. He ran that play down from the backside.
And this is Randy Ramsey, and you just said it, Mark. Speed is a non-negotiable. You got to take it and look at the burst. He has no chance. And that's, again, the cream starts rising to the top. They needed a big stop there, and he produced it for them.
That was a big play indeed. So that leaves the North with 4th down and 17 yards to go. They're going to opt to punt, as would be advised by you, I'm sure, Coach.
Oh, absolutely, and I would say thank you, Randy Ramsey. You know, some of these guys show up when they're needed. When I was at University of South Carolina, we got a Randy's 6'2", 195, 205. We got a kid out of Lamar, South Carolina. He played 1 year of high school football. Nobody thought much about him. He was 6'5", 195, but he was a state 100-meter hurdles champion by the name of John Abraham.
Yeah, I think that name sounds familiar. It might have been a Falcon in his day.
He was a Falcon, and now he's going to the Pro Bowl as a Cardinal in his 15th year in the NFL.
He was a phenomenal player. I hate to see the Cardinals not make the playoffs. But
yeah, that was a tough one, and I know John hates not getting that playoff check.
Yeah, that's right.
But he, you know, Randy Ramsey reminds me of a John Abraham. Raw, but extremely talented, and we have an interception.
What a great play by number 6 there for the north side. Hunter Meeks out of South Rowan, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, I know where South Rowan is. Good play there, good pressure. And did an excellent job there on the break, and there was some pressure up front. North's just kind of hanging around, you know.
Anytime it's a 5-point game, you know, these key turnovers are crucial.
Yeah.
And we got DiMaggio back in at quarterback now for the North, so we'll see if they can turn something out of that key turnover.
And the big time receiver, 84.
Dukes out of
down here to this side.
Dawes High School in Kentucky, looks like. Number 10 with the carry, Martin out of Hilliard Bradley in Ohio. The running back is 220 pounds. That's a load.
Yeah, and he looks to me like they've decided, you know what, we're going to go with him. And I think that's a smart move because we talked about earlier about Blackston for the South, being the big back, power back. Those guys finish runs forward a lot. And, you know, we call them feature backs. These are your feature backs, you know, your 25 carry a game. And then you have your change of pace guys that come in on third downs and add speed and quickness to it. But these guys are the ones that do the dirty work.
Nice little motion. Going to hand it to 26 there.
Good cut. Ooh.
Good cut upfield, but he does get stuck there. Great tackle by number 60 for the South.
That's our boy out of Dunbar.
Trae Gardner.
Trae Gardner has, to me, he's upped his stock in this. And you can see right here, this is what we call a jet sweep.
Good effort by Raheem Winston.
Look at, I mean, he's pursued down the line. He was smart enough to read the play, and he's a nose guard making that play.
I think if we had an end zone angle camera, Coach, you wouldn't have saw the white man's jersey.
No, you wouldn't. He covered him up. It was a perfect form tackle. That's what the folks in the NFL, major college, want to encourage instead of the helmet that's caused so many concussions. Now they're back in the bunch set, which I've been begging for. See what happens. Levin's
going deep there and got 11 there.
Oh,
just overthrows him.
Well, this is a guy we want him to throw it to if you're coaching.
That's right, Brendan Smith.
And he's done a great job tonight, and they had a play there. You know, that was more of a deep ball, which is, you know, is tough. Good protection. The protection's better. Nice ball there, just a little bit off.
Brendan Smith, not the biggest guy out there, but he could be a Jordan Shipley kind of guy.
Well, that's right. Jordan Shipley, you know, is a perfect example. You know, and actually, you know, there's several of them out there. Wes Welker comes to mind too. You know, they always where you want them to be. You know, you can depend on them, and they're going for it on fourth down, Mark.
I think the coaches are feeling fairly confident in the defensive play, as you mentioned earlier, so they're not too concerned right now. He's going to Dukes, and, a bobbled catch, but Dukes is going to make a play for him. That could very well be a horse collar.
They reaching. Oh. Little extracurricular out there, but nothing. They're letting them play. Now, Dukes showed us why he's who he is on this play. He looks like he's a little shaken up, but the yards after the catch here are impressive. And you can see great pressure from the defensive end there, great catch, great concentration. And that wasn't horse collar. It was a violent hit, but he had his hand around the front and he never grabbed the equipment, which is pretty impressive, to be honest, that he didn't commit a penalty there.
Well, now that the North is in the opposing South Side's red zone, we'll see if they can capitalize and put something on the scoreboard there. But we got some laundry on the field. Let's see what this is.
And they've got number 26 in at tailback. They've moved their feature back.
26 is Raheem Winston. He was tackled for a short loss there after the initial motion play, and now he's back in at tailback.
And they've got big number 10 moved up now into the fullback position. I wouldn't be surprised to see the belly player, the quick hitter, to the fullback at some point because they're down, they score here, even though the South has looked like the dominant team. The North has come out here and dominated third quarter, especially on defense.
Well, Martin has a physical side about him that we both like.
Yeah.
So putting him at fullback is a good option. You know he's going to go out there and he's going to make some plays for you.
Well, he plays in that league up in Ohio. It's a tough, hard-nosed league. Played in front of huge crowds, as many as 20,000 people at some of those games. And, the one thing that those kids know how to do is be physical.
Well, they have no choice up there with the coaches staff.
Absolutely.
You obviously have to accustom yourself to the weather up there. Some pretty hostile weather conditions, especially this time of year.
Well, it's a very different style of football than it is in the South. When I left the South and went to the Big Ten, we never took the pads off until Friday. And there were some schools I coached at where we never put them on until Saturday in the South because we ran the spread offense.
Right.
And it was very different, but I learned a lot. It was eye-opening, and the physical play is definitely what you want. Good pressure there, and again.
I would have liked to see DiMaggio get rid of the ball a little more evident out of bounds. That was too close to the sideline.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. DiMaggio just got introduced to Randy Ramsey's speed because he put that burst on him. We may see that right here. Ramsey just explodes, and I think that it caught DiMaggio. Honestly, it may have surprised him a little bit. Those are the things that you have to adjust to when you go to the next level, and Randy Ramsey definitely has the speed to play big-time college football. There's no doubt.
DiMaggio has taken the calls from the sideline, similar to the Oregon offense there, and he's got Martin lined up to his right, and Dukes is up to the top of your screen. He's going straight to Dukes. Let's see if Dukes can make a play. That could very well be some pass interference, but they're going to let it go. I like that.
That's an excellent job by the cornerback out there. He's, it's a smart throw because you got a physical mismatch there. Corner's probably giving, 6-8 inches up and does an excellent job here being physical. Dukes was being physical too. So you let them play. I mean, if nobody gains an advantage from the contact, I've always believed and been told by college officials that I interacted with it, they weren't going to throw a flag. And I think that was a good call from what we can see.
Well, that's how you want it, especially as a defensive player. You typically want to definitely have more no calls than you do any calls. But
absolutely.
I'm a little biased, and I'll say favoritism shown towards the offensive player.
Well,
Maggio's got a man in the back of the end zone.
Oh.
Just overthrows it.
That was a big tight end we talked about at halftime.
81, that's that Tyler Zylan.
Yep.
Out of Boyertown area senior in Pennsylvania, 6'3", 230 pounds.
And he's a full service, good flash fake here. And he, good job there by the defense, expanding the, window as far, or actually shrinking the window so he had to overthrow him because DB got his hand up. And now here comes the difference, I think, in the game. They can kick a field goal, or at least attempt one.
DiMaggio is going to be the placeholder, so we'll see if they can convert this field goal. Going for a fake. Okay.
It's going to be there.
And they're going to Fry, but I think he's going to get tackled.
Oh, great play.
Great pursuit by the South. Tackled the player of the year in the National Underclassmen Combine, Fry, in the backfield.
It's Corey Abraham. And if Fry would have cut that thing up, he might have had a chance. But it shows you the speed because you can see here. He flips it up. We think they've got him outflanked, but look at them run here. I mean, they've got 5 guys behind and a 6 and number 56 coming. So, it shows you old coach's eyes are a little bit slower than those young players' feet are. Thought it was a great call. Good job by the South.
Good pursuit there by the North. 70 on the tackle for the North. Jacob Allen out of Mount Vernon High School in Virginia.
And
very fond of Mount Vernon. That's a alma mater of my sister.
Oh, okay. And of course, Blackston's back in the game now. And, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. He's been their bell cow today.
You're going to try to take it outside, but guess who it is? The man himself, Fry, out there with the tackle. So what he lacks on the offensive side of the ball, he sure makes up for on the defense side.
He's a whirling dervish. He's kind of like the Tasmanian Devil was when I was a kid, the cartoon. He's 100%. And 7 there kind of turns him down, as you can see. you know, and you know that Barton got to make that block.
The South's going to look for a ball. They've got a guy there, but could have intercepted, and it
That's
is
a great
intercepted.
play.
Phenomenal catch by that safety there. 28 for the North with a great catch. Michael Bazil, we mentioned his name numerous times throughout tonight's broadcast, and man, he made a heck of a play there. Basil's just playing safety for the North out of there, and he's got some pretty good size to him.
6'1", almost 200 pounds, and just an excellent play on the ball, great instincts. And we've seen him, like you said, make plays before breaking on the ball. He may even convert to an outside linebacker on the college level, depending on what his frame looks like with the pads off. But good football player.
North's going to take over once again. 18 in at quarterback for the North. See if they can put something on the scoreboard. Brandon Mitchell out of Fox Chapel, Pennsylvania.
That was a great play right there by number 40, Christopher Massenberg from Hardaway High School in Georgia, a great high school over in southwest Georgia, Columbus area, and that was a nice play right there, good penetration.
We got second down and 9, looks like. 18 still in at quarterback for the North. We'll see if they can convert this first down and continue driving down the field after that big-time interception by the defense.
Big hole.
Good run there by 27. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down, but great effort there. Nothing wrong with that run there by Jackson Marlowe.
Good job up front by the offensive line. You know, they just basically blew him off, and you'll see here a lead by the fullback, but he doesn't have to do a whole lot. That's just a good cut by the running back as the defense continues to over-pursue for the South. Now their speed beginning to work against them a little bit.
Looks like Marlowe's still going to be in at running back. So we'll see if they maintain the trend they've had thus far and give it back to him, or if they try and convert through the air. Marlowe's going to take the snap. He's going to take it outside. Good run there and cut up. Going to easily get the first down and pick up some more yardage.
They're starting to really mash the South, and I think the North has a size advantage. And there, you know, Randy Ramsey, you'll see here why speed doesn't always kill. And he's coming off the back end. They just run away. And look at the big push by 56 and 73. The big boys up front there for them.
73 is Fitzwater. He had that big-time block earlier.
Yeah, and that's what you got to have to win games. And they're beginning to look at the push up front here. I mean, that's a 5-yard push, and I think they're going to gain about 6 on it. That's what you want to have.
Winston with the carry, 26 for the North.
And you can see, I think, that because the South hadn't been moving the ball, now all of a sudden they're having to play with their backs to the wall, and you're beginning to see a little bit of fatigue out of them, and it's going to hurt them.
Second down and 6 to go, steadily closing in on that famous red zone where everybody likes to be.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, good zone read here.
Great job by the quarterback. Deciding to keep it. And I like the fact that he cut it upfield and picked up another 5 yards instead of taking it outside.
No, absolutely. And we're talking about a kid that's playing on a banged-up ankle, it looks like, and he's gutsy enough not to trot out of bounds after he gets the first down, but he's looking for more real estate here. As you can see, shows real good speed, and he does. He has a chance to go out of bounds and refuses to.
It's a good effort there by Mitchell. 42 comes into the ball game at fullback for the North. Brandon Bowman, the big-time fullback.
And the elephant set backfield with the tight end as a wing here. Big push, big push.
Good run, and he's going to finish
Touchdown.
it off. Great physical run, and I know you as a coach and former recruiting coordinator, you love that physicality and the finishing ability.
Well, you know, that's what football, when you play winning football, when you can do that to a defense, it totally demoralizes them. And you'll see here, look at where's the defense at? You don't see any. They are just blowing them off the ball. And what they've been able to do now is impose their will. We just get a flag on the play, 2 flags. I don't know if we had some. Unfortunately, that may be unsportsmanlike conduct. But getting back to the football at hand, this game is flip-flopped. And, you know, the North has been able to become more physical. They figured out, okay, look, we can run 10. We can run our elephant backfield, utilize a tight end, and play power football. And they've been able to – their defense has played well. They've got some 3-and-outs on the South, and they've worn them down. And you can see the defensive linemen down there, hands on hips. Some of the defensive players have hands on their hips, and they're a little bit less enthusiastic than they were when they started.
Should be sucking a little bit of wind right now.
Oh, absolutely. They've played a lot in this third quarter, and we still got 4 minutes to go.
And I think it's pretty obvious now they're in a situation where a two-point conversion is your only option or your only choice. There's no need to settle for the PAT. It's not going to do you any good.
Well, it's going to come down now, and we were talking about this downstairs to conditioning, and some of these kids, I heard somebody say, some of them hadn't played in a month, and you just at this point are like, okay, what's going to happen, and it looks like we've got some substitution issues here for the North.
Well, and we've got 19 minutes of football left, so your condition is definitely going to come out. Not a bad ball there, but a great defensive play in the secondary. It looks like number 28 for the South there with a good bat down, JaMario McClendon out of Bleckley County.
And we've seen him make plays. We've seen some great skill play out of McClendon tonight and out of Dozier tonight. Those two corners can play at a lot of places in the country and make football teams better.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now we've got a 1-point ball game, and the South's getting ready to receive here. So we've got 4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in this third quarter in what's been a tight ball game and a good physical ball game, one I've enjoyed commentating alongside Coach Zach Willis.
Well, and I want to point this out. A lot of people may be sitting there going, why in the heck didn't they kick the extra point? Well, all coaches carry a chart, and they went for 2 because that would put them up by a field goal. And, of course, Mark, I'm sure you're obviously well aware of that. Going up by 2 points wouldn't really help them any, but if they could have gotten a 2-point conversion, then a field goal only ties the game. It doesn't win the game, even though I don't think there's a whole lot of concern about the South kicking a field goal at this point unless it's really a chip shot.
Well, and that's true, and it also, even though there's not much concern, it still limits their options. If they're down by 3, they have no choice but to kick, so it forces them into it.
Good kick.
Let's see Richardson if he can have some magic here. He's
got a hole.
He can't keep his feet.
Turf monster. The turf monster got him.
Reached up and got him, but he had his wheels turning. That would have been a great return had he been able to keep his feet.
He had a hole to the outside, and I think he got excited. I'm sure his eyes got big. He's kind of laughing right now at himself a little bit, and that's good to see, but, boy, he had something outside, and with his speed, he could have made something happen there, but the turf monster got him, and evidently the turf monster's wearing a white jersey tonight.
And those returns are really exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Rominger back in at quarterback for the South. Bobbles a snap. He's going to try and make a play on his own. He fumbles the ball this time. Let's see who recovers it. The North saying they've got it, but I think one of the big hog mollies for the South there could have very well fallen on it.
Looked like 59 got the ball, and he did.
Good situational awareness by 59 in the South there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's Joshua Calabro out of Deltona, Florida. And, those big boys up front are in their keep now. There's no doubt. And now the South, for the first time all night, they really they're being challenged, and they're going to have to do something to see if they can play from behind.
Rominger decides to go to his quick outlet out there, but the North does a good job of getting down there and making a play.
And that was Charles Ahorn from Cornerstone Academy in Florida, or Altorn, I'm sorry. And actually a good hard run. Got him into a third and medium. Good job by the North pursuing there. Good solid tackle.
Kind of seems as if the momentum has shifted a little bit to the North.
I think it very definitely has.
Rominger takes the snap, and once again, same exact play almost.
Great job by the North defense. 21 there.
He stiffed him at the line of scrimmage. Made a great play. That's Mark Davis out of James Hubert Blake High School.
He defeated the block there by the wide receiver and did an excellent job here. You'll see him come up, not much of a flash fake, so the linebackers aren't held, and they're waiting on him. And, again, another 3 and out, and that South defense is kind of going, man. You can see all sitting down on the sideline right now. And most of their defensive line's kind of sitting over there trying to catch their breath.
Keep the Gatorade on standby. They're going to need it. 32 with the.
I really believe the kicking game has turned this game around, especially with the punting. You know, the unfortunate trip down here on the return probably robbed them of 30 or 40 yards.
It did.
And now the North comes back out, and I think they're going to be bringing their big guns back out, their feature backs. And the South brings a tired defense back onto the field, and they're going to have to bow their necks. Looks like they're putting some subs in there now.
Yeah, they've got Schaller in the game at quarterback. I really like seeing Mitchell at quarterback for the North. I felt like they were pretty productive with him, but
Tywan Martin is the man for the North running the ball. He's got 2 touchdowns. And it's going to be, you know, he's the lead blocker here.
Winston with the carry. That kind of goes against – in the previous game we did, and Martin's similar style that is the one cut, whereas Winston, you can tell, is kind of he kind of shuffles his feet a little bit. He's more of the speedster.
He's a speed guy. You know, he's an outside guy, not afraid to stick it up in there. But, you know, right here, you know, the North has a chance to separate themselves from the South, and South's got to really bow its neck here and make a ball game out of this. This drive will probably tell us what it's going to be like in the fourth quarter. You know, if we're going to be commentating a tight ball game or the North's going to take control of this thing.
Schaller gets his call from the sideline. He's in the shotgun set. He's got Martin out to his left and Winston. He's going to hand it off to Winston. Winston's going to try and take it outside. He's going to pick up about 5 yards before the defense makes a good play on the tackle there. He's going to bring up 3rd down and about 4 yards.
Latrent Hill made that play, and it was a nice play, but I like the concept here. You can see they're getting him out on the edge now, and Hill just makes a nice play there. He pursues down the line. He makes a play, but not before they get this thing into a 3rd and 5, which is very makeable. You know, here's where you go back to Big 84, I think, standing out there on the outside, you know, and see if you can't get Dukes involved because they have an advantageous position right here to throw a hitch route, pick up an easy 1st down.
Schaller under center. They brought in Marlowe at the running back position. Schaller's going to scramble out, and he's got his tight end out there. That's the North Carolina State commit, but he fumbles the football.
And that cost him the 1st down. They recovered the ball, but he fumbled backwards.
Good awareness by the player for the North All-American team to recover that, but he did fumble it, and it's definitely going to cost him a 4th down.
We talked about ball security before, and we always say it's the guy you don't see that causes the fumble. And you can see right here, good delivery, great play call. Look, from behind, the guy he didn't see caused a fumble. The elbow was out, not tucked up against the rib cage, and you have about 3 points of contact, and those other 2 to get the 5 points of contact cost them the football. Well, they're going to go here. South brought back in their big guns up front on defense.
Marlowe's still in at running back, Schaller under the center.
They've got a wing alignment, basically an unbalanced look up top there, and they're going to go there.
Good pressure, and Marlowe's going to pick up the 1st down. Good job. Back to what you were referring to with the ball getting outside of the body of the coach. I think there's a former Dallas Cowboy who might remember that from a Super Bowl not too long ago.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And here you can see Gardner to the nose guard gets penetration, but he just misses him. And there, you know.
Good tackle by William Youngberg, but a little too late.
You're right. You're right on the fumbles in the Super Bowls. Those things, no matter where you are, you know, last night, you know, if you watch the Eagles and Cowboys in that ball game, Murray had a great game, ran extremely physical, but got hit from behind, and coughed it up early, and 2 more interceptions after that, and they went home losers. Exactly, and this game is all about mistakes. You know, if you can play turnover-free, not have major penalties, and don't give up big plays on defense, you'll win a bunch of football games because that's easy to say and hard to do. And, again, I think the North actually dodged a bullet there. You know, their defense has been stellar. They opened the second half being aggressive, trying to win the game with an onside kick. They didn't get it, but their defense made them right, as we like to say in the business, because they held up. And I think at that point when the defense stood there and bowed up, shut the South down, from that point on this has been a different football game.
It has indeed. The North has definitely came to play in the second half. The locker room speech that they got definitely worked. They've got them guys fired up and motivated to go as we start the 4th quarter now.
Yeah, and I think that when the coaches came out and said, hey, we're going to do everything we can to win this game, I think the kids bought into that. So sometimes even if you take a chance, you've got to know the psychology of your team. But you know, if you know it, even a failed play, the gesture alone can do a lot for you. And there's a trap play that we've been waiting on, and it worked quite well on the south.
Good run by Maurice Woodard out of the West Lafayette in Indiana.
And you'll see it. Here's the trap where he pulls. He goes right in the kick-out block there, and it's just a downhill play. This is the stuff that the South's going to struggle with because they're not huge up front. And they're probably going to need to start bringing some pressure, Mark, to try to get this thing turned around, get a lost yardage play here or there.
Schawler's going to remain in at quarterback, and looks like Winston's going to split out to the slot receiver position. Woodard in at running back now, and we'll see if they can convert this second down.
And there's Ramsey shooting the gap, but they run away from it.
Good run by Woodard, but he's going to come up about a yard shy, possibly 2 yards shy, depending on the spot.
Yep, it's going to be. This is the drive of the game right now, for the North, and really more for the South than the North. But the North can really make it hard on the South if they get one in here.
13 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. It's a 3rd and 2 for the North All-American team. If they can convert this third down, they'll definitely be in prime position to securing this win and taking advantage of the game.
Oh yeah, they're already have turned the tables.
Schawler's going to take this snap from underneath the center. Marlowe in the backfield. See if they feed it to Marlowe or not. He's done a great job thus far tonight, but Schawler's going to roll out, and he's got his receiver out there in the flat. Good block.
Great block. Great play call. They have set up the bootleg. We talked about it at halftime, that it was set up, and here it is. You know, they're doing what they need to do to win this game.
That was Tyler Zeeland with the reception,
yes.
and that was our man, Brendan Smith, with the big crackback block, if you will, on the outside.
And it was, and it got him about 5 or 6 extra yards here. Nice job. And that Tyler just continues to impress me with his all-around game. Not the biggest guy in the world, not the strongest or fastest. He just does everything right. He catches the ball, he handles it well, he blocks well, he runs great routes.
Coach's dream.
Exactly. Wouldn't be shocked if he might not be a coach in the family somewhere.
There you go.
Or a coaching in his future.
Got Marlowe in the slot for this one. Schawler's going to look to him, screen Dukes, but they're going to go to
got him.
Smith deep.
Oh, I tell you what, the South's make-up speed, the ability of them to make up lost ground is impressive. Now, that ball was a little bit underthrown. He had the pump fake, and he threw it off his back foot, and the ball faded on him. But great job here by 20.
Of the North, yeah. Marco.
Actually, it's Delvin Torbert out of Auburn. It's one of the twins, and, of course, he made a great play earlier in the game when we were joking around about being from Auburn.
And Torbert should be noted that he's the National Underclassmen Combine DB of the Year.
And I can see why. Very well deserved. Big-time play, but, again, fundamentally can't throw the ball off your back foot, as you pointed out earlier, Mark, and expect to get the kind of pace you need on it. Good push by that offensive line.
So 13 with the carry there. He's going to come up a little bit short. That's Woodard once again. He's going to bring up a third down for them. Third down and probably about 7 yards, depending on where they rule him down at.
Big 55 and 75 is big guys up front. You know, they've worked up a lather now. They're sweating and slobbering, and they're coming off downhill and just blasting away. And you can see hands on the hips of some of the South's guys trying to get Ramsey's trying to get them fired up over there, and they're in a 2 tight end set. So this is big from here on out.
Take note of Smith at the bottom of your screen. We'll see if Schaller looks for him.
Oh, man, great play.
Phenomenal play there by the defensive tackle, number 60.
That's Gardner. Again, our boy out of Roosevelt High School, and he has been a dominant player all night, and a guy, again, along with both of our cornerbacks off the South, that I think can raise his stock by this game.
He wasted no time getting in the backfield.
Well, if you see the quick swim here, if we have a chance, you know, and it's incredible the quickness that this young man has. But you can watch right here, and actually that time
he comes free.
Yeah, that was a bust on the offensive line, and that's why we do replays. He came through so quickly because they simply didn't block him, and that's something that offensive line coaches dread, but happens.
So that brings up a 4th down and 12. The North is going to elect to go for a 4th down conversion versus kicking a field goal. Charlotte looking to the outside, and there's nobody going to be home.
Well,
turnover on downs for the North.
You can credit Mr. Ramsey with that incompletion because he looked like he was shot out of a cannon coming off the edge there. And he's located down at the right defensive end. And obviously, 4th and 12, it's a passing situation. He's got his ears laid back here, and you'll see him come into your picture right here. Boom. I mean, and even though he didn't get home, that quarterback was getting rid of that football.
Quick pressure, quarterback caught him out of his eye.
So the South bows up, and we play on.
So here we go. We got A.J. Long in at quarterback for the South now.
Big push
Good
up
run
front.
there.
Woo.
Probably about a 9-yard pickup. Going to leave about 1 yard.
And you can see big 72 getting up off that pile,
72
Swindle.
for the South.
And I'm sure Gary Patterson is salivating. He probably didn't want him to play in this game so nobody else would see him. He wants him to become a horned frog. Oh, and he's just mashing people, and they get the first down running right behind him. This is when it gets intense, and you can see the physicality, I think, the intensity level picking up on both sides now.
And you can always appreciate that. You like to see some guys come out and compete and
Absolutely.
play hard.
Absolutely.
In a one-point ball game, you want to see everybody perform as top-notch as possible. Long with going to try and take it outside. Great pursuit there on the outside. Good containment. 22 with
We've
the
got a
tackle
flag. We've got a flag on the play, and it may be offsides. I'm not 100% sure.
Elijah Allison had that tackled, pending what the officials come back with, but we do have a flag on the field.
This is a big call depending on which way it goes. Well, they're running it on.
Well, they're going to call it on the North, so that's going to bump up the North's penalty yardage. Don't know my math exactly, but I'm saying it's closing in on 60-plus yards.
Oh, yeah, and the personal fouls alone have been huge in this football game. And, we haven't seen anything flagrant up here, but obviously down in the trenches they're getting nasty, and you can tell that by watching some of these replays. The offensive line is being extremely aggressive at both the North and the South, and the defensive line's not going to lay down and take it. Big cutback lane there.
Along with the handoff to 26, Evan McDowell.
Swindle again just mashing his guy down here, and you'll get the end of it here, but you can just see him. He's just caved in his entire side.
I think Coach Patterson might have somebody he can run to.
Oh, yes, and now the big boy's back in.
That's Blackston in at 34.
Yes, Blackston's back in there, and they're big 3rd down and short. I would think 4-down territory from them all the way in.
They're running a hurry-up right now, so they feel pretty confident what they're doing. They're going to try and continue this.
They're trying to turn the tables on the North and wear them out. Little big push,
Long
big
will give it to
push.
Blackston again. Great run. He could finish it.
I know you're an all-star game, Mark, but that guy, you want to win this football game, you got to put it in his hands because he changes the game.
He does.
The South was on its heels, and they put him in. They start running left, and things change in a hurry, and they've got 2 extra tackles in at tight end. Now, they're not running tight ends. They're in what we would call a jumbo package. If you look down there, big 78, 54. Look at the beef on that line.
54 is a stud for sure. 54 right now. He's over there towering at 6'3". Could even be higher than that.
And that's big Chris Wheeler.
6'8". That's
out of Franklin County in Tennessee. And I tell you, they just ran for another 1st down, and it's like a mirror image of the North's last touchdown drive. Hands on the hips of the defenders, and they've just got those big boys up front, and they're just manhandling them right now.
Long's gonna hand it off again.
And the push is there. That's the best job the North's done, and they still gave up about 1.5 yards. So good time maybe for a bootleg because they're going to have to sell out inside. The only problem is they've only got 2 eligible receivers other than the running back in the game.
I was thinking the exact same thing, either a bootleg or a counter play because they're already expecting it up the middle there.
Well, that's great push there. He just pushed it on in.
34, he's going to finish that play.
Great push.
Touchdown for the South.
It's this has become a good, just as good a football game as we expected it to be. And what it's evolved into is a high-level football game. And when you get to the higher levels, it's all about man-on-man blocking and just pounding the football right at each other. And you look at the NFL, and this is very similar to what they do. The Lackawanna coaches are known for having big, strong linemen. Anytime you go recruit there as a college coach, you know what you're going to get, and that's what they brought to the table here.
So with just under 8 minutes to play, it's a 18-13 game. Looks as if that's what it's going to stand at.
Yep.
Failed two-point conversion attempt, so
they took Blackston
advantage
out, and it freed. I think, you know, when they take him out, the North feels like, okay, they're not going to be as physical, you know. And there he is. You see him. He's your workhorse. And DeMatha, Dunbar both have been known. In DeMatha High School and Dunbar, where he's from, are crosstown rivals in D.C., have put out player after player after player in basketball and in football. And this is just another in the long line of great running backs coming out of there.
But once again, it goes back to a 5-point advantage for the South All-American team with just under 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of this National Underclassmen Combine here in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Got our man Beaver out there for the kickoff once again.
I got my boy out there. And this would be a time for him to nail one if he could. That's going to be hard to handle. Got a good bounce.
Good bounce, and 85 is going to try and bounce it outside, bring it back. Good pursuit, because if he had been able to take it back around, he could have had some running room. But that's a great job there by the South defender and maintaining that lane integrity, as you talked about previously.
Exactly. Actually, that was Vereen coming out of Long County, Georgia, with a very nice tackle, very good coverage on that play. But again, they get good field position out of this, and they're in a position to drive the football now.
So they brought back in DiMaggio at quarterback and Marlowe at running back for the North. So we'll see if they can continue to take back over this momentum that the South gained back with that touchdown last drive. Marlowe's going to take the carry. Good little run. Marlowe was one tackle away from breaking that for 6.
He definitely was. He has tremendous vision, and it takes tremendous vision to run a split-back lead sweep like they're running out of the gun, because like we've said before, you want your guys to be able to square up the line of scrimmage, to be able to see more. Marlowe's able to make these cuts back across the grain, fully across the grain, and make great runs, and that was an exceptional run there. He's definitely a one-cut running back, one-step cutter.
Second down and 4 yards to go. They're going to give it back to Marlowe. Good pursuit on the backside by Ramsey. And
Ramsey's done what we talked about at halftime. He's asserted himself. We didn't call his name in the first half, and we hadn't stopped calling in the second half.
So that's going to leave the North All-American team with a 3rd and 5, trailing by 5 points with just under 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of this National Underclassmen Combine.
Yep, and this is down now to every play is a huge one. You got to lock in if you're a player and play your best on each play. If you just focus on that one play.
DiMaggio in the shotgun set. He's going to take the snap. Going to fake the handoff and take it himself. A good little run there, and he's going to pick up the first down, but a good tackle on the outside, good open field tackle by 22 of the South.
And a great block by the tight end, number 88 there, on Ramsey. That was what made that play.
88 is Ben Falfey. We've already seen him earlier. He made some good catches
There
earlier.
it is. That was the difference in a first down and a lost yardage play. That's where we're at in this game right now, is the little things are going to win it or lose it for you.
DiMaggio back in the shotgun set. Let's see what he can do with it. Going to hand it off to Winston. Winston's got the outside. A good little run there. He's going to pick up about 5 yards. He's going to leave his offensive unit with a 2nd down and 5.
Well, right now the South is crowding the line of scrimmage. They had 7 in the box there. You know, if you can complete the bubble screen, it's going to be there for you if you run the twins formation. The South's play and run first. And that means play action will be there, and runs off the edge will be profitable for you. But any strong play action to Dukes right now would have a big chance to happen. Now, obviously, we know how good the South's defensive backs are.
DiMaggio hands off to Marlowe. Marlowe does a good job of trying to get it, but he's going to be stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Great job by the South in securing that tackle and stopping Marlowe for a short gain.
And I believe that was number 48 there, Matthew Hoover. And we'll get to see it again here.
And Hoover is definitely fired up right now
Oh,
because he made a heck of a play there.
Just an excellent form tackle. It's the way the game's supposed to be played. And he just came free and made a great play. And we're beginning to see guys step up and make plays here. And it's a lot of fun to watch guys compete at this level.
Hoover's representing some patriotic cleats out there. It looks like the American flag on his feet.
Well, I'm a shoe guy now. I love to see stuff like that. Oh, we got to have.
DiMaggio does a good job of getting back in possession of the football, but that was a poor handoff attempt by DiMaggio to Marlowe, and it resulted in some loss of yardage.
And, again, we go back to the little things, and here's ball handling. And I'm not sure that Mr. Ramsey didn't have something to do with that. You know, he's right there. You know, he's got his ears back, and he's flying, and the read option is a very delicate play, and you've got to run it over and over and over, and it's especially hard on 3 days' work with people.
Well, with under 5 minutes to play, the North opted to punt the football on 4th and 10, so the South's going to take over after the reception by 85 on the punt return.
Well, I would be interested to see who comes in at running back, and if we go back to the elephant formation here, or jumbo formation even, where they put the 2 extra offensive line in as tight ends.
If Blackston's not back in the game, I think the South is making a mistake.
Well, he's wanting to be in, as you can see down the sideline, and they're telling him no right now. And it's understandable. There's more at stake here than just winning a football game. Everybody's got to get a chance, and the young man in the game's done a great job. Roberson's done a good job tonight. But as you can see.
Good tackle in the backfield there. Looks like 93.
Yeah, good job there coming off that back edge.
93 for the North. This is Derrick Davis out of Central Davidson.
And a good job. Another guy, you know, from just up the road in North Carolina. Great penetration. He just beats the block. You know, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
Roberson trying to get some yardage, but good host of gang tackle there by the North All-American team, and Fry is always in there to clean up the act after it's over.
And the North has kind of gathered itself, and they've got their ears laid back, and they're just playing the run. They're banking on the South trying to run out the clock here. Both teams have all their timeouts left, so we've got a long way to go. Now we've got Blackston back in there now.
The bruiser.
The big bruiser's back in there, and they're back in their favorite formation. Play action.
Good ball. Let's see if he can make a play, though.
Great coverage.
Slightly overthrown, but definitely good coverage there by 21, Mark Davis.
Yeah. You know, I think when you look at this, it actually was not overthrown. Davis had actually impeded the receiver's progress. NFL, they're going to call pass interference. I don't agree with that. You can see here, he's got great coverage there, and he had it all the way down the field. Maybe a fade stop, maybe, but that's excellent coverage, and the North steps up again on defense. How many times have we said it?
We have said it a lot. Ronnie Reed was pleading with the officials for a flag on that one, but they're not going to get it. It looks like the South being backed up. I didn't catch the penalty.
I'm not sure that wasn't coming from their bench. We don't have mics on the referees where we can hear them, but if I'm a betting man, the officials were catching some grief because they felt like
Reed should have got the pass interference.
Yeah, they felt like pass interference was warranted. Now here is interesting. If you pan back here, they've got 3 safeties back to catch this football, which is, again, a smart move. And is that Fry catching?
Fry catching a punt, so they're going to take over the ball at the 45-yard line.
He does it all. He plays running back, I guess, too. From Upper Arlington. We had a guy, I think, named Steve Gardner from not far away from there who was a great linebacker for us. Really good special teams player up there.
So the North's going to take over now with 3 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the game. They could either very well run out the clock and win the game, or go down and get a quick score, and the South could take over. So it'll be interesting to see how the clock management goes from here on out.
They've got to score, and you want to do it as easily as you can. But if you could score in the last play, that's what you'd love to do. But that takes a lot of nerve.
So Charlotte with the handoff. It's going to be a pickup about 1 yard line, or 1 yard, excuse me.
Yeah, and a good job by the kids, stopping on the whistle, because you could have had some extracurricular right there, and we didn't get that. And at this point in the game as a coach, that's something I'm looking at is, look, right now on both sides of the ball, it's all about who plays the most solid and mistake-free football, penalty-free football, turnover-free football, whatever you want to call it. You don't want to be screwing up right now.
Martin in at running back, Schaller at quarterback. Going to hand it off to Martin. He's got a little bit of running room, and then it gets closed up quickly by the South All-American team.
Very good job there playing off a block. Anytime you see a potential hole open up a little surge, but then all of a sudden there's nothing there, that means somebody's defeated a block. And I think it was a nose guard here. And I take that back. It was not. Number 44 in there doing an excellent job. And that's William Youngberg out of Payson, Arizona. We hadn't called his name all night. He's back in again at linebacker. He's a linebacker, but he did an excellent job there.
Schaller's going to take a snap.
Oh, boy,
and
look at
Ramsey's
that.
all over him.
That, again, primetime players.
Primetime plays.
You got it. And it's –
well, Ramsey has made a name for himself in the second half. His credentials have speak volumes about his character and his ability to play the game of football, and he's obviously lived up to all the hype associated with it.
Well, that's nice to be able to say that, because so many times today we don't get to. This is an example here, just pure speed. And again, he reminds me so much of a young John Abraham. Now, John was 6'5", but speed is speed. And, Elvis Dumerville, another guy that was undersized, has done a great job in the NFL. I think of Dwight Freeney comes to mind.
Sure.
Played at Syracuse. And they sprint, but look at the speed here. He beats two big guys to make that play.
Secures a sack.
Exactly. And, right coaches get a hold of this video, he's going to have more offers than he does now. And he's got Arkansas, Cincinnati, Kentucky, North Carolina State, Rutgers, Wake Forest, Illinois, and several more. And, of course, he's the Defensive Player of the Year for the National Underclassmen Combine. And you can see the folks at National Underclassmen know what they're doing when they pick their Players of the Year. Him and Fry have done incredible jobs out on their respective teams.
Well, this is the game, folks. It's 4th and 21 for the North now with just under 2 minutes to play. So we'll see if the North can convert. Schaller's back in there. He's going to step into the pocket.
And look
at
Ramsey run.
Ramsey is running him down.
It's a great effort by the quarterback.
Turnover on downs for the North, but Ramsey did a phenomenal job coming off the end, and he not only ran 10 yards downfield, he ran about 30 back upfield.
Let's watch what does this say about him. He beats two guys again, then he gets around another guy, just doesn't quit. He's relentless. And see, these are the intangible things, and there's 44 again. Youngberg, who has, again, shown up in prime time. We haven't called his name. But when the game's on the line, you see certain people come out to play in a big way. Mr. Youngberg's doing that, and here's our big boy.
Blackston. He's going to take it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to go all the way to the end zone, and he's going to seal the game, as if it seems, for the South All-American team here at the National Underclassmen Combine All-American game.
Well, he reminds me of those Big Ten backs, and I don't know what his situation is right now. Old Dominion would be very, very, very lucky to get this young man.
He's the running back of the year for the National Underclassmen Combine, and it's clearly shown tonight why he has that.
He showed their breakaway speed. They can't catch him. North's got some fast kids, but he has been the difference on offense, along with the big offensive line up front, and he is in a long line again of great backs coming out of that Dunbar to Matha, D.C. area. Big hole there, touchdown, and big 72 again, just
Roberson converts a two-point conversion, turns it into a 13-point ball game with just under a minute and a half to play.
And Swindle, again, tremendous. But 34 is the guy, in this football game.
There's no doubt he's got player of the game for this.
Coaches congratulating him, players. They know. These guys are all winners. And this guy's got a bright future ahead of him. And if the staff at Old Dominion's probably another one, along with Gary Patterson, is saying, I hope he doesn't send this tape out, because this is not a high school game. This is an All-American game. And he's doing this against some pretty doggone good competition.
Well, and with Old Dominion just converting to full D1 now, I believe they just took part and joined the Conference USA. That's going to be quite a
look at those thighs.
Good little spot for him to go.
You remember a guy named Earl Campbell when I was a kid had those huge thighs, and that's where all that power comes from, and he will be a durable back from what I'm seeing. He'll be a guy that'll be great in pass protection. You can send him out on routes. He'll pick up blitz and linebackers and safeties, and he can run the football. So, bright future for that young man.
Beaver with the squib, but that was a pretty good play there by the North All-American number 15 there. He did a good job, Troy Durham, of securing that football and giving his team pretty good field position.
Yeah, out of Virginia, and that was an excellent job, because what he just did was they've got 2 timeouts left, and they've got a kicker. So they get a quick hitter here. They got a chance at onside kick to come back in this football game. It's not over yet. The fat lady's warming up, but she hadn't sang yet.
That's right. They brought DiMaggio back in for quarterback. Marlowe's lined up in the slot, looks like, and Winston is going to be his tailback.
And the South looks a little confused on their coverage here.
He got a screen set up to Duke, so we'll see if he can have any playmaking ability. He's clearly got some speed, but he was caught that pass about 5 yards deep behind his line of scrimmage.
And one of our 2 corners that we feel like McClendon comes up out of Bleckley, Georgia, and makes a great play on him. You can see the athleticism here by the receiver, but watch our corner here. Watch 28. That's big-time stuff.
Secures the tackle.
Exactly.
And now a minute and 20 to go now with 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Now, DiMaggio still in at quarterback.
And the South, of course, has got some of the other kids in playing now, making sure they get reps. And they look like they're in a dime package, which means they've got 6 DBs on the field.
They went to Brendan Smith there. Good to see Duke's out on the outside blocking, but we got some laundry on the field once again.
Probably a hold if I'm a betting man. But I like what the North has done schematically to even things up here. They realize they're facing nickel and dime defense, and it's actually a face mask. So
going to get them in better field position.
Absolutely. So. It might be time to go a screening go where you pump the screen and send 84 deep. But they've attacked. Oh yeah, no doubt. And they've attacked this nickel and dime defense with 5 and 6 DBs by running screens and being able to block those smaller DBs and just turn it into a running play. That takes some patience, but it's the right move.
DiMaggio is clearly looking to Dukes on the outside, but he's got
great
Marlowe
block
there
by 13 there.
Brendan Smith with a phenomenal catch there, diving effort, and it looks as if he's going to secure that catch, and I think they're going to give it to him. And one's ruling no-go, and then the other one says it's good, so we'll see what they can come to a collective agreement.
2 things there. Great catch, I thought. We don't have the best angle in the world. But watch Marcus Woodard, number 13 here. Boom. Great block there. Finishes the block. He caught that ball.
It looks like to me. He definitely secured it. It's hard to tell from the angle.
Yeah, and the ref's giving it to him there. It was right over things. I've always been told, I had a buddy that was an ACC official for 30 years, Mark. And he would always say, he would tell his officials, he was commissioner in the conference, he was the commissioner of officials. Also, some people call them the assigning officials. But he said, don't fish in another man's pond. In other words, don't overrule an official if he has a call there. And I think that maybe he got overruled, and, that's a tough call there. We want to see a good football game, but at the end of the day, I think the officials have actually done a really good job policing this game. Been some personal fouls and that sort of thing, but they've kind of policed it and kept it clean and not let it get out of hand. It's been extremely physical and competitive.
I've been impressed with the officials for not only this game, but the previous game as well. They've
Absolutely.
done a good job. So
everything that we've seen down here has been first class, folks. There's no doubt.
is looking deep. 18 there. Great catch.
Well, he made a great adjustment on the ball and did everything but catch the football.
That's right. And that defensive back came in and made a great play. 28 for the South, 18 for the North with that catch, or attempted catch, Brandon Mitchell. But he was unable to secure it. I would have loved to have seen him make that play.
It definitely, he got his eyes on the ball, good protection here. And he comes inside and gets separation. Now, as you said, 29 does a nice job knocking it away, but you would have loved to see him make that catch.
JaMario in the shotgun, he's going to take the snap, and that's a quick outlet there to Dukes, but Dukes is going to bobble it.
I tell you, Duke seems
trying
to
to
be.
make a play.
I think he's having trouble picking the ball up. That ball has black laces on it. We use one of those. I think it's a GST, if I'm not mistaken. And sometimes those black laces cause some certain kids problems picking the ball up, especially on a lower throw that blends into the stands a little more.
Well, the South just gave their coaching staff a Gatorade bath, so I hope it wasn't premature. We'll see what happens.
Ooh. I tell you, they're a touchdown. Well, that was fourth down,
that's
but they were
down, so that's going to secure the ball game
that's
for the South.
And they've earned it. And the South has took the North's best shot. Thought the North did an excellent job, scheming this thing up and trying. But there was definitely a talent discrepancy. And here's the bath right here on Coach. I don't know if he appreciated that or not.
That might have been a little chilly for him, but.
Well, I think he wanted them to wait until he knew that play was over. Most coaches do. But, hey, you know what? Kids love playing. It's the game's for them, and that's the best bath you'll ever take.
That's right.
It's cold, but it's the best one.
So I would expect a kneel down here by the South, but we'll see.
Yeah, in an all-star game, they're going to take the knee, it looks like.
Well, timeout by the North.
They're probably trying to get some kids in the game. Looks like they're just trying to get organized for the final play here.
You always enjoy being able to come out in a victory formation and take the knee.
Well, I tell you what, there's no better feeling than, as most coaches will tell you, that's their favorite formation. North has absolutely nothing to hang their hats about. Very impressive performance by them.
Well, as the fans begin to file out, and they've been able to witness two phenomenal games here today, a third that happened prior to us arriving, but this is clearly a good event. It's a great event for not only the young athletes and talent on the field, but also for the locals here that could really come out and support these guys. You're able to follow this national talent throughout their career, not only in high school, but also on the college and hopefully professional level for some of these guys.
Well, I think that it's a plus for the state of South Carolina, plus for the Grand Strand and the city of Myrtle Beach to be able to host this. And you just hope that it continues, because as a college football coach, I can tell you that there's definitely a need for this sort of game, the 7th and 8th grade game. There's a need for that, to identify these young people early, and not for recognition so much as preparation, academically, and teaching them, and you hope that they take this experience with them and learn from it and move forward. And I'm sure a lot of them have made friends, and it's been a great day for me. I've loved being down here, and I hope they keep doing this for years to come.
So the final for this evening's festivities was 26-13, the South winning over the North All-American team. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast and welcome you back to next year's event. Have a good night. Thank you. No problem.
That would be tough. That was a good run right there. They did a good going to mail us or send us a?
That's what they said, but I'm going to go double check.
Yeah, like we got.